Hi guys! It's time for a new podcast, I think so.
Christ.
What? I'm just here. What's
You're
wrong?
so
It's just,
big.
I guess I'm kind of big. Hold on, I'll make
He
myself
has an
smaller.
ego, I'm sorry, okay? We tried to make him less of a diva.
But like this, we have people that were like Jtegh, Icewave, Aquamatey, Ryman, and we're here to do a review podcast of a brand new release. It's called Hair Strands for Remake.
I'm leaving.
I am so into this. I am so into
Goodbye.
this. Can you believe it? Hair this smooth, this Dither 3 in RE engine. Can you believe it? I can't. This is insane. 10 out of 10.
The hair looks good.
Reviews done.
I agree.
10 out of 10.
The hair looks good, but it also looks good without it.
It looks way better. Way better with it. I should have made a comparison. I feel like I did a bad job.
It looks better, but I wouldn't say way better.
Oh, I think that's such a big.
It looks better. It looks better, but I wouldn't say it's worth a 20 FPS performance hit when I'm just struggling to hit 60 with it off.
I never did like a proper comparison, but I was able to maintain 60 fine with hair strands.
But you have a more powerful GPU than I do.
I guess, probably, kinda, perhaps.
You do. I'm pretty sure you said you had a 2080 Super last time I checked.
Yes. Oh, that's
super duper
so smooth.
I may have had hair strands on the entire time as well, but I also have a 3090, so
3090 is that.
Me too. I have a 3090 Ti.
Did you use hair strands?
We're twins, Jtegh. No, I voluntarily turned them off because I didn't like how they looked on Leon. That's the only reason. I think they looked good on everybody else, but I didn't like how they looked on Leon.
Jtegh, should I kick them all? Should I kick them all?
I like the hair strands.
If you kick me, that means you're prejudiced against poor people.
You can't kick me. You don't have feet.
Oh.
You can't kick me. I own you.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah, and I have a pot.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, I guess we're here to talk about more than just hair strands.
Yeah, I mean, there is some more features to the game than just the hair strands.
There's a video game. There's a video game.
The hair strands is a video game to me. I can like, this is a good video game right now. I could this is good gameplay. This is good gameplay. But no, that's a game. That's a game. Look at this. You have played
I remember this part.
You fight nice, but yeah, you know what? I'll go in reverse order. I'll just start with the summary and say that this game is a very good game. This is a very good game.
I agree.
10 out of 10.
I agree.
Probably. I don't know. This is the most fun I've had in an RE game in more than 10 years. This is a very cool take on an action RE game, and I also really appreciate they didn't just make a remake with the exact same gameplay, but pretty graphics. I feel like it is cool. It's like a basically full-on reimagining of everything. Like, they take specific parts of RE4 and keep that and like remix it and like redo a ton of other stuff, and like the gameplay just like a new take. I don't know. I think it's just well made and really a really cool approach on how to make a remake.
I agree. It's like the perfect example of how to do it.
Yeah, and just like the quality from start to finish, like everything is just really well made. Like the graphics are nice, the gameplay's fun, the level design is fun, like the environments are really pretty to look at and explore. The hair looks really smooth and really nice, and I love it. And I want every game to have hair strands from now on. And yeah, no, it's just it's just great. It's just a good game.
I think what's really neat is that it complements the original. It doesn't replace it.
Yeah, I mean, like, also the original is so easy to like play whatever. Like it is reason everything. Yeah, it's so easy to access.
Which is great. So I'm really happy they did a lot of shake up for the remake.
Yeah, I mean, the remake would have been far less interesting if it was just a note for note retread of the original with better graphics.
Agreed.
Last of Us. Sorry, continue.
Yep.
Weird cough you have there, Ryman.
Yes, sorry, it must be coming down with something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of remakes that have been in that style where it is almost identical to the original game, but with prettier graphics. And I feel like that's not as exciting because, I mean, you can always just play the original game in that case.
Yeah.
In some cases, there are this situation like that game just isn't that readily available. Like there is the rare situation where that can happen.
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks, Ashley.
She agrees.
I guess I should have a warning quickly that we're going to be talking about anything in this podcast, like spoiler and stuff. So if people haven't played through the game and they care about spoilers, they should just run away screaming right now.
And the hair.
Oh my god, the hair looks so good! Like seriously, like this is such good looking hair. Like I can't stop talking about it. It is.
It's so fluffy looking.
And it looks so flawless. I'm just so used to video game hair having a ton of dithering, and this like the light, the way the lighting hits it, and it just looks so good. It looks so good. It looks so good. I can't believe it.
You know what I think
It
about
definitely
like this?
conditions.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so too.
Ask me again when I get a better GPU.
I think this guy's just jealous of her hair. To be honest, I think she's jealous. Does anyone else want to start with their summary of their general thoughts on the game as well?
I guess I could.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Ryman's good.
So, all right, let me start the summary with asking you guys a question. Would you say that out of our group, I was perhaps initially the most skeptical of this remake when it was first announced?
This is a good screenshot, by the way.
Dear Lord.
I think I remember that. I think we did a podcast where you said those words, right?
I think your words at the time were, "We don't need this. We didn't ask for this."
Never asked for this.
So, to be upfront, I still believe this remake is somewhat unnecessary, but it is also excellent. So I find myself caring less that it is unnecessary.
Yeah, I was
I enjoyed this far more than I expected to. I played through this 4 times. I really like this remake.
That's a few times.
Yeah, and I will likely be playing it more because there's still stuff to do.
Just fine. Ada says that's fine.
You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also I mean, this is so much better than every other recent RE game for me. Like I have, I don't know. I feel like with stuff like R7, R8, like part of the reason why I played them was almost just like a sense of obligation because I tried to make RE content for my YouTube channel, and R7 I didn't even enjoy. R8 I got tired of really quickly, and this is just so much better. This, I think this is also way better than R2 and 3 remakes. I feel like that's not even a comparison, in my eyes.
Also, there's as much as this deviates from the original, there's so much reverence for the original just hidden within it. There's a reference to the Ditman glitch in this remake.
Yeah,
that's how deep they went.
There's also a lot of small neat touches they made sure to reproduce. Like for instance, Ashley will still do that animation, which cheers on you whenever you get a headshot. That's a thing that can happen.
Oh really? I actually never noticed that.
Yeah, it is pretty subtle, but she will do that animation now and then.
Yeah, she does the little fist bump.
Yeah,
nice.
That's one of the things I was most impressed with was how they managed to be entirely respectful of the roots of the game and pay homage to that, but they still did almost a full script rewrite. It's
the
entire thing is a new experience.
Yeah, I thought I would be bothered more by how much more seriously this game takes itself compared to the original, because I mean, let's face it, the original was a very silly game.
Yeah, it is super campy.
And whilst some of that has been sanded away in this remake, it's still a little silly in places, and I actually don't mind it as much as I thought I would.
I think
nights.
Yeah, exactly.
Night. I think they made the characters a billion times more likable to me. I like this Ashley a billion times more. Louise a billion times more.
If you want to talk most improved thing in the remake, it's Ashley. Just Ashley.
I disagree.
Ashley. Whoa.
I think Leon is the biggest improvement.
I also
I could not stand anything about that character in the original. I cringed. Every part of my body cringed every time he opened his mouth. It made the original game I hated replaying it for that reason. I just didn't want to listen to it. But He did a
This is what
complete.
Aqua looked like when they played the original.
Please don't make me listen to this. But
No
like,
thanks, bro.
he's a totally different character in this, like, which is a good thing for me. Like there was one scene in particular that like actually like made me like have an emotional response to it. Like when he encounters Ashley again at the castle right before the maze section,
Oh yeah, I know.
and he
I know what
has
you
like
mean.
this. Yeah, they have this little conversation where he's kind of just like reassuring her, and you can tell that he genuinely cares about her and wants her to know that he's there to help her, and that it's a moving scene, and that didn't exist in the original at all. Like there was no emotionally moving scene, and that was just like the perfect way to illustrate that Leon is a more mature character in this, and I found myself interested in the dialogue, not just laughing all of it off, shrugging it off like it didn't matter. Like it was a nice change of tone, I feel like.
Yeah, I think the script is like a gigantic improvement. Like, I also like that there's so much more dialogue. Like, characters will speak a lot more during gameplay. There's also like dynamic stuff they can say during gameplay. Like, Ashley might say "Holy shit" as you get like a headshot, and like when other stuff happens. Like, I feel like that just adds so much more personality to the characters.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
character
Speaking
got that
of
upgrade in their own way, I feel like.
speaking of characters, this boy right here.
Oh yeah, Luis.
Oh,
Yeah,
My
he
boy.
is such a fun character in this.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
And he got
like.
more
Hmm?
screen time too, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's like a co-op partner in a couple of parts of the game, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, there's basically an entire part where he and Leon are just like bros of the mines.
I hope you like thrill rides.
Oh, I do. I really do.
And they made, oh god, like spoilers, but they made his death scene like super sad. Oh my god, I was so
Actually
upset.
was something that happened this time. Yeah. What
Like, yeah,
characters
yeah,
reacted to it, not just like walk by his corpse on the floor and completely
Yeah.
ignore it.
yeah. It's kind of weird in the
Yeah.
original where like Ashley doesn't even comment on it whatsoever, if I recall.
Yeah.
I think that's what I liked the most was that like Ashley got to react to it this time around.
Yeah, like Leon broke the news to her. Like
Yeah.
it's a complete 180. Like
Like
she actually got to
like
react.
his death got to matter. It actually meant something in the game instead of just being like, oh yeah, he's dead now. Okay, moving on.
Like, like even the death scene, like I feel like they even made the death scene like Krauser rather sad. Like even that guy, like I feel like the script is just so much better. Like the script and the voice, like and everything. I feel like it's handled so much better than the original.
Yeah, they
It
got
does seem like
more. They got more development and background. Like there was that thing about like
Operation
Krauser's.
Javier.
Yeah, Krauser's
Dark Side
colleagues.
Chronicles.
I
That scene
also,
with Krauser definitely suggested that there was a lot more history between Leon and Krauser that
yeah.
we ever really knew about before.
Well, unless you played Dark Side Chronicles and actually
I
I
remember
played
didn't.
that
this
and I
game.
don't remember any of it.
Yeah, that was kind of one awkward thing in the game is that they kept referencing Operation Javier, and I don't remember that game. It's been too
What
long. I
also,
just remember camera shake.
they also like in the pre-rendered intro scene at the beginning of the game, like they show Leon as like becoming the agent that he is, and there is
Yeah.
also like
yeah.
some of the knife fighting training that he does with Krauser in there, and that is like
Yeah.
also part of like what he references during that scene.
I almost
Yeah.
forgot about that because I only watched that once.
It is something
Mhm.
that's very easy to like gloss over. Like if you've never played the original and you don't know who Krauser is, like when you see that scene, you're just like, oh, that's just another soldier guy, I guess.
Yeah, like it's very much out of the blue in the original game. I feel like just like just just the way like the story moves in the remake, I think it works so much better than the original. Because in the original, I feel like stuff just happened out of the blue, and a lot of the times, like it makes zero sense. Like Sadler entering the church, like explaining his entire like evil plans to Leon and Ashley. Just I don't know. The original story, it's kind of just it's not great.
I also like how Capcom have recognized that everyone hates QTEs now. Like, and now we have a remake of the game that made them popular, has almost completely excised all the QTEs in the game. Like the first Krauser fight that was just a QTE fest in the original, it's now a full-on proper fight with mechanics and timing and whatnot.
Oh yeah, like knife fight is it's actually really fun now. Like yeah, it has a lot of gameplay rather than just a series of QTEs.
Also, pretty hard and professional.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried that yet.
I imagine there's no room for mistakes.
Well, one of the quirks of professional in this game is that only perfect parries work. So the timing for blocking his attacks is much, much tighter than the other difficulties. Because it has to be perfect.
And here we can see some examples of the knife fight. Wow, wow, wow.
Although I admit, in the cutscene before that fight, I did laugh a bit when they were getting all slap happy with each other before the fight started.
Patty cake,
Yeah.
patty cake, patty cake.
Yeah, I got some vibes of what's his name again? That silly actor who everyone makes fun of, made a bunch of movies in the 90s and still makes movies that everybody just makes fun of. Steven Seagal. I feel like the way they fought, it actually gave me like Steven Seagal vibes, which is I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Now that you say it, I totally see that. Yeah.
See, now I wish Krauser ran like him.
Oh,
Now I wish Krauser reloads guns like he does. Here come the good guys.
Does anyone else also want to give their final summary?
Oh boy, let me just get my notes so I hopefully do something that resembles like
Oh no, sad
decent
scene, sad
critical
scene.
view.
Oh, this
I
is
do
so
have
sad.
quite a few notes for the game. I think overall that I liked it quite a lot. I do have some problems with the game. Most of them come down to the fact that, just like the original, I still don't like the island section of the game. And like almost everything that they changed compared to the original is stuff I liked, but I feel like a lot of parts of the island didn't get changed enough. And yeah,
I was actually surprised how one-to-one the island section was.
it felt a lot more one-to-one than the rest of the game. Because I feel like up until pretty much like the Salazar boss fight, I enjoyed the game quite a lot. I had some issues with playing as Ashley, but overall, I really liked the game. But I've only played through it once so far because I haven't had a lot of time to play it. I also want to like mention a little thing about the point that Ryman brought up earlier about like the QTEs. Like this game like barely has any, but the moment there is any, I pretty much always fail them because I'm not ready for them.
Yeah, Krauser has kicked me quite a few times.
I had that issue too.
Guys with scythes and the big like dude with the hammer, I get hit all the time because either I'm like, oh, I can just parry, and it's like, no, you can't parry. You need to duck out of the way.
Yeah,
And I just
that's.
get smacked in the face.
I'm not sure how I feel about that mechanic, to be honest.
Yeah, I had issues remembering that E was a key that you should press to dodge. I just was always ready to smack the space bar, but E always caught me off guard through the entire game.
So I wasn't the only one that played. Sorry.
Yeah, I also played keyboard and mouse. You were about to say that, I think, right?
Yeah.
I played keyboard and mouse.
Oh, so like 3 of you guys played with keyboard and mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did the entire thing with gamepad on PC.
Ever since the
I
RE2
don't
and
know, the
3
game got on
remake, I
PlayStation.
just play these with keyboard and mouse. These games. I
Me
can't
too.
go
Ever
back.
since 7.
This game definitely seems like it would be way easier with mouse and keyboard. Like the gamepad controls are unfortunately kind of messed up because of the acceleration they've added, which just makes them feel really bad. Like even when even when they tweak them, which makes them feel better, like they're still kind of just weird to use.
Yeah, I tried the first section with the gamepad because I wanted to play with the gamepad, but that acceleration just I hated it and I didn't want to get used to it, so I
Yeah,
switched
like
really
you
quickly.
really need to tweak the controls. Like by default, they feel absolutely horrendous, and they feel like okay if you tweak them. They don't feel great, but they feel okay if you tweak them. Maybe Icewave. Did Icewave wanna have a summary for what your thoughts on the game are?
Yeah, sure. I think the game is pretty good. I just to like briefly touch upon the characters quickly. I think Ashley is just so much better. It's kind of
Yes.
insane how much, because I controversially probably I don't like her at all in the original.
Whoa.
Leon,
I like her in the
I
original, but they
I
made her so cute in this.
I think the problem I have with her in the original is I just don't think there's any character to her at all. Like, just feels like she doesn't really have a whole lot in the original, but in this, she has so much more. Like, she has a personality. She has back and forth with Leon. She gets to just react to general things around her and all that. Like, there is so much more of a character there now, which I like. So that was really really nice. Uh, Louise, I love that he got expanded upon. I like that he had an expanded role. I think his death scene is way better here. It has an impact. It's something that actually matters, even up until the end, which is
Really makes you want to
wonderful.
kill Krauser.
Yes, like, and that's another thing. Also, like, it also makes Krauser feel like a more natural part of the game in a way. Like, instead of just suddenly like, oh hey, he's here.
Yeah.
Like now, there's kind of like this segue into the island part that feels more organic in a way.
Yeah,
Which I
because
really
like,
like.
isn't there like a file on the island that says part of the reason the island is set up the way it is because of Krauser, all those defenses and whatnot?
Yeah,
I think
he
you're right.
arranged it as a like a military base almost.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that is what it says. Yeah.
But like there are also in some few cases, like I think Sattler is a bit weaker in this game. Like I do actually prefer him in the original a little bit because I just think he lacked a bit of screen time. I don't really think he got to leave as much of an impression. And Salazar, I also kind of prefer in the original. I miss his hat. I really miss the hat.
Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy. But I didn't completely hate the island. I only
Wow.
hated half of it, but that's an improvement because I didn't like any part of it in the original for the most part. So that was better, and
Hmm.
I liked the village just as much as in the original, and the castle was a pretty fun time. Like Castle 9 just felt more streamlined, but in like all the right ways. Like just better thought out. Like there was just less filler in them.
Yeah, I also feel like, especially the castle and the village, more so the early part of the castle, it just felt almost mansion-y and like Raccoon City-y, where there's like a lot of backtracking things that like loop back to the same point, and
Mhm.
like the game rewards you so much more for exploring and like going back. And the original only had that for like getting the broken butterfly for free, like with Ashley. And this like has like a bunch of stuff that just rewards you for going back.
Yeah.
And the island, I feel like, is a lot more linear in the remake than the rest of those areas. Like it doesn't have that like looping back a lot. I think it's like the one part with like the regenerators that has a tiny bit of it, but the rest feels a lot more linear.
in that sense, it kind of reminds me in a way of like Jill's boat parts of Revelations, like where
Yeah.
it is linear, but if you also like remember like certain things you run past, you can go back and get like big rewards for it.
Yeah, I
And I
think
like
that's
that. I
maybe a
think that's
better comparison. But yeah,
like I really
that
like
makes
that. I
sense.
think that's like a really good way of going about it. But yeah, I think like my thoughts are just I actually like this more than the original.
Ooh.
Why did I become asleep? Okay, yep.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm that boring. Samus.
No, no, no. It was
Sheesh,
accidental.
man.
Accidental sleep.
Just hurt me.
Accidental sleep.
Just
Oh.
accidental sleep. That doesn't make it better.
I don't know if I'd go as far as I said I like this more than the original, but I'd probably say I like it as much as the original, which is probably more than I was expecting to going in.
That's high praise.
Let's
I do.
what?
I do have some gripes with it, but I imagine we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go
Yeah.
in depth about a lot of stuff. I'm kind of just quickly curious. So, like, Icewave said he likes this better than original. Ryman said it was like on par, right?
Yep.
I think it's definitely better than the original. What about like Jtegh and Aquamatey?
I agree that it's a lot better than the original.
I've only played through the game once, so I don't have like a 100% formed opinion on it. It also doesn't help that the game doesn't have all its content yet.
Oh, yeah, like separate ways
That's true.
is missing.
Yeah.
You can compare it to the original GameCube release. That didn't have separate ways.
I played that.
Well, then there's still no assignment Ada, which I think is
Oh.
in the original.
Oh,
That's
that is
true,
true.
yeah,
Actually, yeah.
No, there is parts that I like more than the original, and there's some parts that I like less, and some that are about equal. So I think that averages to about the same as the original, but because this is newer and I haven't played through it 100,000 times, I might prefer playing this if I had to choose between the two.
I think
I only did
with-
it 99,999 times.
Oh yeah, that one time really, that's the big difference.
Yeah,
Exactly.
actually, there's some things I want to ask Icewave about later,
Oh boy,
but we'll get to that
I'm scared.
because he might
Yeah,
be
I
the only
think-
one that can answer the questions I have.
I think with respect for what the original accomplished for its time, as it's still a very good game. Like Sekta said, you can still play it on 200 platforms. I think with respect for what the original accomplished, this version, like, hands down, vastly improved every aspect of the game for me. Like, it's something that I actually want to go back and play. And
Hi, Palpatine.
I don't think I can think of a single thing that I feel like they didn't improve on, except for a couple of nitpicks that I think we'll get into later. But even
Yeah.
those
like-
nitpicks, I feel like just to mention one of them, I guess, like one of my nitpicks has to do with how aiming feels in the game. Like even that nitpick, it kind of I still am okay with it because it makes sense for the style of game that they made and for the engine. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
I fell asleep again.
the
Sorry.
animations and stuff
Wow,
match
Sectus.
the speed of aiming. So
Yeah,
it's, even my nitpicks aren't huge problems. It's just points of preference, I feel like.
I'm also considering replaying the original at some point since I never did do a full playthrough with that amazing RE4 HD texture project that was released some time ago.
That mod is so cool.
I think I agree with the aiming feeling a little bit off, and we have like a video example prepared by Icewave I can showcase later, which will kind of showcase like a little bit of what I think is wonky.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to say about that too.
I think I
on the
do as
topic
well.
of nitpicks, I think this scene we're seeing right here is something I would like
yeah.
have a small nitpick about. Like, I
Yeah.
will say though, like before I complain, I think the game does a really good job of putting gameplay first. Like one trend I absolutely despise about modern gaming is that the first 1 or 2 hours of modern games is typically just hold the analog stick forward as story happens. Like I just want to play a game. Like this game starts up very, very quick. Like the prologue is very brief and then it's like just in the middle of gameplay. But this is one of the few sequences that just basically, oh hey, I just hold forward on the stick for like 2 minutes and that's it.
That's actually 5.
5? Oh my god! But yeah, like I kind of wish you could skip this, but otherwise, I think the game does a really good job like putting gameplay first.
I agree. Yeah.
Kind of like the original in some ways.
Let's
There
just.
was go. Yeah, I was gonna also do like a little nitpick about controls, given that that was something that we mentioned a little bit. I don't know if you guys experienced this, but when you play as Ashley, she feels like different to control than Leon. Like she feels a bit more like slow to move around.
Like sluggish,
If that
yeah. I
makes
Oh
think,
yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the game seems to have like a huge priority on like animations. Like the animations drive movement, so they have the characters feel like they have a lot of weight. Like they don't feel as snappy to move as in like RE4, 5, and 6, for instance.
Leon
Exactly
reacting to
that, yes.
fires. Leon reacting to
Just-
fire animation is the bane of my existence.
Oh god.
That's one of the things. Yeah, especially in Mercenaries, this nitpick really comes into play. It shines in full
Did
view.
you know that if you swing the knife, you cancel that ouch fire
This
hot
is true.
animation?
Oh,
Like-
that's good
Oh,
to
wait,
know.
really? I didn't know
really?
that. Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does
if-
cancel it.
Yeah,
That's
swinging
useful
the
to know.
knife cancels the fire indeed hot animation.
Huh.
And it works like in Mercenaries, in campaign or whatever, and it works with every character. You can cancel the like shrugging off fire animation.
That sounds very useful.
But
Yeah,
it's still the bane of my existence.
because I mean that's one big difference between the original and the remake is you have way less invincibility frames and it's way easier to just get
Yeah.
stun locked to death if you're in a
Yeah.
bad
Mhm.
position.
Yep, stun
that-
locking
that's-
is one of my nitpicks as well. Like there's
Like,
a lot
that
of
is-
it, and you can just get
Oh.
stun locked to death.
Yeah.
Especially enemies jumping, like simply spawning and jumping into the stage. They knock you back when they jump down and then they
yeah.
push you and then they hit you. It's like
Like being
some-
close
I-
enemies
I
can
just
be a
wanna
little bit
stop crying,
annoying.
laughing.
It
They
is
can
like
stun
one
you
of
so much.
Yeah.
It's like one of the few gripes I have is like just I think the game at least should have had as many iframes as the original.
Maybe not
Because-
as many because that had an absolute ton, but more than they currently have is
Yeah.
Mhm.
what I
Yeah,
feel.
Like, at least
because-
maybe for when enemies hit you.
Yeah, because in the original, there were so many invisibility frames you could abuse.
I do want to
Yeah.
say, I think it's an important evolution in gaming that we finally have a game where enemies can knock you off of a ladder.
They could do that in
Because-
RE6.
We have felt too safe on ladders for too long.
Yeah,
could do that in
RE6 did have it
RE6.
as well.
With like,
And even your partner could knock you off the ladder in RE6.
that's
Sectus.
true,
Hey,
Look at this happy boy.
but it didn't happen that often, and you had to like really be bad at climbing ladders for that to happen to you because the enemies were slow. They didn't really, the AI didn't prioritize knocking you off of ladders. I feel like I don't remember that really being an issue in 6.
Yeah, it definitely happens way more in 4 Remake than 6.
Plus the little shove that enemies will do if you're close to them.
yep.
Yeah, like it's I'm kind of torn because hey, yeah, that looks cool. It makes the game feel more dynamic, but it keeps taking control. Like being next to enemies in this game can be a little bit frustrating. Like also like another thing is that you can parry almost every attack, which is pretty cool. You can't parry grabs, and enemies they like to hug you,
Yeah.
and that gets
Yeah,
a
you
little
can-
bit.
Nothing
parry
scares me
certain
more
grabs.
than an enemy not carrying a weapon.
Yeah.
Right? Because even if you're in an animation doing a melee finisher on another enemy, if there's one standing nearby without a weapon, they will start the grabbing lunge at the perfect time to grab you as soon as you're done meleeing.
Exactly.
Like they are
It-
so good at that, and it makes me
Yeah.
mad.
I feel like the game like really encourages you to be like just hyper aggressive, because that'll just like be on the move and be super aggressive, because that will reduce the chances of enemies like just like grabbing you or like doing other stuff to make you stunned.
Hmm. But yeah, like Secta said, like it's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but it's neat to see AI improved that much, but it's also
Definitely.
really annoying to deal with.
Speaking of more aggressive playstyles, suplex anywhere, not just Castle and Beyond. That's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I
That's
forgot that
pretty
was a
cool.
thing.
Shame it doesn't make the head explode though.
You
No,
win
it
some, you
doesn't.
lose
But
some.
there's such a satisfying crunch noise when you
That's true.
suplex someone.
I'm one tiny little nitpick about suplex in the remake is that in Mercenaries, when you suplex someone, they don't die immediately when you suplex them. Like there's
It's
kind
like
of
a
like a 2 or 3
second.
second delay.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
like a oh no, I'm in pain. Oh wait, I'm dying. Animation.
I guess anyway, like, wouldn't it be bad to do suplexes in this Mercenaries, because the knife animation is faster, and also I think it gives you more time or like equal amount of time.
Yeah. Well, I I'm I just like flashy
Yeah,
melees. I don't care that
I
much.
feel
Yeah.
like there will be some complaints about Mercenaries, some praise and also complaints about Mercenaries when I get to that point.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess we are at that point. I mean, now that we've mentioned mercenaries, where's Ada and Wesker? Damn it!
Yeah, I think chances are super high they'll come with separate ways whenever that is.
I
Hopefully
mean,
the wait isn't too
spoiler
long.
alert: their mercenaries files have been in the game since launch, like even before the mercenaries update came out.
Yeah.
They're in the files. They're not playable.
Yeah, it is silly. I feel like the Mercenaries content should just been the same as the original game. You just add Wesker, just add Ada, just add the fourth stage. I feel like that was silly of them to like withhold.
Yeah. I feel the same way. But don't it's already a pretty bare bones mode in the original 4 compared to what came after that. But reducing what's there just for the sake of releasing it at a different time with separate ways, if that's what they're doing, that's I really wish they would have just released it in the same condition that it was in the original and then added even more with separate ways. If they really wanted to package content together with separate ways, they could have done more instead of giving us less upfront.
I
Yeah.
like
The
that you
teddy
can play
bear.
as Luis in mercenaries, even though he's really slow.
Well, he's actually
Thank
my favorite
you!
character to play as.
He's my favorite too, yeah.
I love that he uses the pipe
Yeah.
That's
from the
nice
story
touch.
mode as a melee.
I mean, yes,
Lance.
thematically, aesthetically, Lewis is great in Mercenaries. I just can't stand how slow he is at everything he does.
Speaking of
Well, his pants are pretty tight, so
That's always
Jesus.
a plus. Tight
Yeah.
pants for everyone.
before I
I agree,
forget,
Aquamatey.
maybe we'll mention the whole
Oh,
control thingy. Where so yeah, like so they have the same system as R2 and R3 remake, where the vertical will like bloom. Like by the way, like this is one thing that's not explained in the game. You have to go to the game's manual that's only online. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the entire world to ever read it. And in that manual,
Didn't
it
even
is
know it had a
mentioned.
manual.
Hmm?
Didn't
What
even
is
know
it?
it had a manual.
Oh yeah, like I don't even remember how I stumbled upon it, but there is an official manual, but it's only available digitally online. And then mentioned that when the reticle becomes small, the chances of stunning enemies becomes way harder. Also, the chance of like critical hits becomes way higher. But the thing is, it's so awkward to do in 4 remake. Like the
You're kind of
like
being swarmed by a lot
Yeah,
of
it
enemies.
takes so long to zoom in. Like, I need to
I
shoot them
hate that.
now, not in a few
Yeah.
seconds
Yeah.
from now.
and
Also, like,
hmm?
you do the slightest movement and the reticle opens up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike this
Even
game,
if it's
which
just
we're
the
seeing
camera.
right here.
Yeah, if you move and like if you make Jill walk, it'll open up, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But like once it's locked in, you can just swing this camera around, and it's just like, nah.
Is it same in 2? Yeah,
Yep.
like
Mhm.
it stays locked.
This feels
So they definitely
slower
went
a little bit
overboard
than
on that.
2 or than 3. I mean, but
Like it does close relatively fast again, but it's still
That
like
changes
just a
from
little-
weapon to weapon too.
Yeah. Like I was gonna say, like this looks like super quick closing. I'm pretty sure other weapons like they close way slower than this.
Yeah, like the Red
Yeah.
9 and any Magnum. That's not the Killer 7.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah, that's I unlocked the hand cannon because it's pretty easy with mercenaries.
God,
I
the hand
used it in the
cannon.
campaign with infinite ammo for like 5 minutes, and then I was ready
That
to
makes
put it
me
back
so
away.
sad
Like,
how
I hate
nerfed
it.
we-
is.
Can we now segue to weapon changes? Because there's a lot to say there. There's so much to say. So, yeah.
Also, I just quickly want to say Leon's hair here looks fine. No hair strands.
I think hair strands. I think hair strands look so much better. I think hair strands look so much
This
better.
looks fine too, though.
And another thing is, like, I mean, like this is heavily compressed. But if this was like, why did I pause again? Like if this was higher quality capture, this would be dithering hell. Like this, I don't like the dithering. I really dislike the dithering.
dithering is bleh.
Yeah. I hate dithering. But yeah, we can talk about guns. We can talk about guns.
Hey,
Guns.
it's
Hey,
that
it's
dog.
that dog.
Huey.
Orf.
Good boy. I'd pet you if I had
Yeah,
arms.
can I quickly just say I love that they expanded on the dog a little bit.
It's neat.
Yeah.
Like I had the biggest smile on my face when you rescue it, and Leon just says, "Take care of yourself, buddy." Like I was just like,
Yeah.
mm.
Like even that, like that scene I mentioned earlier with Leon kind of consoling Ashley at the castle, like this the way he interacts with the dog is another green flag, I guess. Like just he's a good character. Like he's a nice, genuine person, and that's
Yeah.
so much more pleasant to play as than that trash bag that we got in the original.
Jesus.
Whoa.
I hate him.
So
Lordy.
harsh.
Like I will say, like my favorite kind of Leon is the one that's like he's serious when he needs to be, but he also still has the one-liners when he knows he can do that. Like that's a good combo, and
Yes.
this and RE6 does that, and that's why I really like these Leons.
He had great.
They'll be for the repairs later.
The fact
poor
that he's
cow.
just a much more pleasant, friendly person,
Mr. Vibers.
and maybe more serious about his job, makes the one-liners more enjoyable for me. It's a better contrast. Whereas, like in the original, I couldn't take anything he said seriously.
He did it too often for me in the original.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to segue back into that conversation that we've already had.
Nah,
Back to the weapons.
It's fine. Like I remember when, like, of course, there were those rumors going around before the game came out that the Capcom may have killed off the dog, and everyone was sad.
I mean, this game would have been like a 0 out of 10 if they'd done that. I would have quit RE.
For a while, I almost believed it, but then I left the village chief house and I heard the whimpering. I was like, dog.
Oh, by the way, the
My
thing I
heart.
actually the point I wanted to make about the dog really quick was that the dog's inclusion is confirmation that Haunting Ground remake is coming next.
Oh, I
No,
wish. I wish.
I would buy that day one.
Um,
Even just a remaster.
Yeah, I'll
Soft.
take that.
Sectus does the voice
Ooh.
acting for every stalker.
is that in the game or is that a mod?
That
That's a
is
mod.
something that I've created. I
Oh.
wish it was in
Oh.
the game.
Well, it looks surprisingly official.
Oh,
Did you
thank
make the
you.
hair strands too?
Yeah, yeah. I
Wow.
worked extra hard on the
Talented.
hair strands.
Wow.
No, her face and hair is untouched. To quickly explain this is my assignment Ada reimagining, where I used models from RE2, 3, 7, Resistance, and I want to say maybe even RE-verse
Oh,
to
God.
make this.
Oh wow.
Oh.
It's like a combination of a bunch of models and then like retextured and heavily edited mesh to make this.
Good job.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I'm proud of you.
Also,
Oh,
on the topic
thanks.
of Ada, can I just say she looks fucking fantastic in this game? She's
Oh my god,
gorgeous.
she's so
Like,
pretty.
Oh, that hair, that hair.
I think my jaw actually dropped when I saw her first in the game because the detail on her and her face.
All character models are just absurdly high quality
Yeah.
in this game. It's kind of insane.
I don't know how Capcom's character designers do it.
They find very pretty people in real life and take
Oh,
a lot of
right.
pictures.
Right. Right. That is the RE engine way.
They use photogrammetry on very, very pretty people.
Who
Good for
made
her.
who ported this over?
Oh hi, that's also me.
Oh wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow.
I need to fix that up for
Yeah,
the
it looks
full
better
game.
with his normal
but,
hair.
He looks good. That's the outfit that I used for my first playthrough up
Wow.
until I installed a mod.
a mod that
Hey,
exposed
mod.
his pipes.
Yeah,
Oh lordy.
flaccid, just for the record.
And Kennedy was unleashed.
The S was unleashed.
I do not have this outfit.
I like the romantic outfits. I think out of like the official non-modded, I think for both Leon and Ashley, the romantic is my favorite costume.
I love
super agree.
Ashley's romantic too. Yeah, and his hair looks great in that
I
one
think
too.
for Ashley, I prefer her casual.
I would have liked this Leon outfit more if he had different hair. I don't
Mhm.
really like this hair on the
At least you
hero.
can easily do that via modding.
Yeah, that's true.
God, this
And
That's
then
my favorite
there's
This one I ignore.
Oh god, so edgy.
Who
This is my
puts
favorite
V in this
Oh
game?
god.
This is my favorite Leon alt. It is so absurd and out of
Oh.
nowhere, and I kind of love it.
Oh god.
it is absurd and out of
bothers
nowhere, and I
me-
appreciate it, but it's a bit too much for me.
I'm
It's a
into
nuisance
it.
to
Like,
play
let
with.
me
It
feel
gets
the
in your line of
2000s
sight.
edge.
Like
The
I just
feathers.
Yeah.
I
it's
look at
so
this and I
big.
see V from DMC5. I can't unsee it.
I see
It
someone
kinda is.
who's listening to Disturbed Down with the Sickness circa 2001,
Get up, come down with the sickness.
and I'm into it.
Oh god, let's move on. Oh, this. Frails, so
That's a
much
good
frails.
costume.
I also don't have this.
Yeah, really
I
quick.
love
I just
this
want to say, just because I wasn't a fan of that villain. Is that villain? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
This is villain.
Even if it's not my taste, I still like super appreciated that they gave us these like really varied outfits from the start for both characters. Like it was nice to see the variation.
Sex-
Like they're all super unique costumes, and that's impressive.
Sickness?
Yeah, I
Zoom in on
agree.
the hand, please. That's clipping. It's clipping.
I take
Oh
it back.
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You found-
this clipping
Man.
here and there if you look hard enough in the game.
I like how they like expanded the customization a bit. Like it's not just an outfit, there's also accessories that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can combine
Yeah,
with it.
It's very
Usually
fun.
glasses and sunglasses, but still.
Like
Like
some
I think
hats.
oh, and of course, one of the most requested things from the original is in the remake. You can have Leon wear his jacket the entire game.
Mhm.
And I did. I paired him with like the frameless sunglasses, so he looks like more like a stereotypical government agent type dude.
I want to have a tiny nitpick about the costume select.
Oh.
It's a downgrade from the RE2 and 3 remake because you can't switch costumes on the fly. You
Oh, yeah,
need to
that-
go back
yeah.
to the main
Yeah.
menu
That's
Oh.
for
That's
That's a
some
little bit annoying,
reason.
yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
And yeah, RE2 and 3 remake, you could do that change whenever, and you can't here, which I thought was odd.
I wonder why
But
they did that.
yeah, I maybe it's because of like file loading with hair strands or something, maybe, or I don't know.
Don't
Aha!
you dare blame hair strands.
Aha!
Hair strands is innocent.
But I mean, even in 2 and 3 remake, you could switch character costumes with different hair on the fly. So I don't know why exactly, but
It is a small bummer.
yeah, it's a slight bummer. Like I said, it's a small nitpick, but I wanted to mention it because it was on my list of notes.
But yeah,
Um,
these days I've been having Leon rock the pinstripe suit with the rounded sunglasses, and well, Ashley, well, let's just say she's feeling very clanky.
Clonk, 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 clonk.
Speaking of customization, I want to just mention one really cool hypothetical customization that we should have available, but we don't have available. Maybe someone can make it a mod. But the thing is, like, with the hair strands, which are bloody amazing, the best perfect creation of all time, and I'm very happy we all agree. Anyway, with the hair strands,
They're okay.
the color is simply defined via 3 floats. So if you just like, you can just change those 3 floats, like RGB values to like whatever, and then you get different hair colors. Like it is not defined in the hair texture. It's just a couple of float values. So like in theory, like maybe you just have like a tool that can like change that, like on the flight, like whatever color you want. That could be like potential neat mod.
An
I want
RGB
hair.
LED fading hair, yeah.
God.
Rainbow hair.
Yeah, like
I want it.
your rainbow hair, like keep changing, like that might be possible in theory.
They do it in Monster Hunter, so.
Oh wow, Luis.
Get him.
I like him.
Did you take a screenshot
I did.
of Punk, Ashley?
I didn't have a lot of stuff unlocked when I took these, unfortunately.
But you have Punk Ashley if you own the costume.
I don't know then. Maybe the screenshot's in there, maybe it isn't.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Hunnigan looks great.
Yeah.
Hunnigan is
Oh, I
giving
love
Fizz
Hunnigan.
Shiva, and I love it.
I don't know why
She
she's
needs-
just in like one non-pre-rendered cutscene, but
Merchant's great. I wish he had a bit more interval between each line.
he
Yeah.
talks a lot.
Every time you enter his radius, he has a new thing to say.
I don't mind. That's just more when you're like browsing. It's like every 4
Yeah.
seconds he's like, "Oh, strange! I've ever told you that. So I've always wanted to
God rhymes with fun for a reason, stranger.
You're not a stage of battle on you, stranger.
Yes, stinky,
No,
stinky boy.
I mean, he probably is
Stranger,
sticky. I mean, look at him.
But otherwise, he's pretty good.
Have we tested yet if you play as Ashley and you like go out of bounds and walk up to the merchant, will he treat you like Leon? Like, will he say the same lines?
Yep. Yeah. I've done that.
That's funny.
But yeah,
Stinky boy Ashley.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I'm okay with him babbling all the time until I'm streaming, because then I notice that he keeps talking over me. I feel like when I'm playing off from it's fine, but like when I'm
Yeah.
streaming, he kind of just keeps talking over me.
Just needs more, like just a slightly longer delay.
it's Mario and Luigi.
Okay, can we just talk about how rude the game was? Because they specifically labeled this guy here noob officer.
Yeah.
What?
That's kind of
He-
rude.
he
Yeah,
is
if you have like
newbie
subtitle names
officer.
on, he's called veteran. He's a veteran, and he's
It's-
called noob.
How did they
It's
spell it?
Ah,
Like I think it's literally noob, like NEWB.
Okay.
It's kind of weird because the older, like the veteran call, like you see his ID, you know that his name is Mario. But
He's also
They-
like also for a
Oh.
veteran officer, he's kind of stupid because he's all like, "Oh yeah, people disappeared from these woods like these past many days."
yeah, and then he wanders off on
and then
his
he
own.
just hears the noise and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just
Ah,
gonna go through here."
They don't take that very seriously. Yeah.
Not the smartest man in the business.
Well, I think they learned their lessons.
The hard way.
That was a
Oh,
fun
right.
new enemy.
Yeah,
that was a
so
weird redesign for
Alright.
Wesker.
my
Not
all right,
sure why they
so
gave him a bullhead.
first time I saw this guy, who appears earlier than I expected, I was like, "Wait, what are you doing here? This is an RE5."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Executioner
an almost.
prototype.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's a
Although,
fun type. I like him.
This screenshot of his model makes his feet look tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, the angle is a bit weird.
toesies.
I enjoyed finding them. I'm just not sure if I'm the biggest fan of the whole mechanic where they have where you press circle now and then to evade certain attacks. I feel like that doesn't feel like it's
Yeah.
smoothly integrated into
Evade.
the game.
On keyboard, it's press E to evade,
Yep.
and you don't use E for anything else.
Yes, that's
Well,
exactly.
Aside
I
from
want
curtain.
someone to mod the evade prompt to be like Time Crisis, and you just hear danger, danger.
Oh god.
Oh god, the eyes.
Don't zoom in on the eyes.
Oh god.
Zoom
the
in
eyes,
more
please.
on the eyes.
No.
Go
Zoom in
back.
the
Go
eyes.
back.
I kind of prefer the original Salvador design.
The
I
spookier
just-
here.
It's,
They
No.
are spookier here, and they also make more sense because like this is like the Plagas. That's kind of like the Plagas is just the head now. Like it's not really human underneath anymore, which explains why he's resilient to bullets. But I also kind of just like how he just looks like a completely normal guy in the original, but he just put a bag over his head.
Is he resilient
yeah,
to
that
bullets?
did.
Yeah, in the original he took a few bullets, but it
Well,
was like it was
I
kind of
mean-
weird because he just
I mean,
looked
the-
like a ganado with a bag over his head.
I mean, they always had way more health than the other enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking, like, if you like shoot them twice in the head, they always get stunned. Like, stunning them is super easy.
Oh yeah, I mean in that
Oh
regard,
yeah, stunning
but,
them, sure, but they would take a lot more to put down for good.
unless you're Hunk. I like his
Use the
hat.
cheese.
He's weirdly
I-
faithful. They just gave him a hat.
I don't just like his hat. I like how after getting shot by Ada in that one scene, he just calmly goes to pick up his hat again. Happy
But
to
he
go.
actually he seems like a character in this game instead of just an enemy boss in the original. Like,
Yeah, if you go and read files, there's more development about it. Especially if you go back with Ashley later up into the attic of his house. There's loads of extra
Yeah.
background up there.
that was refreshing.
Oh, and then of
During,
course there's that that entirely new sequence where he chases you before you
Oh, yeah.
for you
I
fight. him.
hated that. I
Oh, you should've-
absolutely hated that.
Hmm.
I
I
just should have included the clip where I threw a grenade at Ashley out of panic during that sequence and blew her up.
Oh,
I have failed that sequence. Like I started my second run this weekend, and in both my first playthrough and my second playthrough, I have failed that sequence maybe a combined 10 times.
huh.
I
I-
am terrible at that part.
I've never failed that sequence.
For me, like I try to go into like the little building to pick up the flash grenade, and like Ashley gets stuck on stuff or enemies, she gets downed, and Mendez just picks her up and walks off with her, and you instantly game over.
Oh, I didn't go. I literally I booked it the straight line
Oh, yeah,
to the
you're
to the
definitely
bridge.
meant to
I do
just-
not
yeah.
stop.
But yeah. I mean, if you stop like a little bit too long, Ashley will just get down by the overwhelming amount of villagers, and good luck trying to pick her up because Mendez will just be right there to scoop her up and instantly game over you.
Like Leon said, run, and I was like, okay. I obeyed, and that turned out to be the right call.
I mean, it is, but yeah, I don't like that chase sequence. I don't
do-
think it's fun, but
I will say I do like the change that he's the one that infects Leon.
Oh yeah, that is new.
I also like that. I do like that he actually during his boss fight like talks when he's mutated. Like he
Mm.
talks so
Oh.
much.
Oh, all the
I mean-
bosses love talking in this.
On
Oh, yeah.
that
He's mostly
topic,
spouting like cultist gibberish, but uh, but he is actually like talking a bunch of stuff, which is a neat detail, I would say.
on the topic of his boss fight, that might be one of my few complaints about what they changed. I really don't like his second stage in the remake. That he hangs back and throws stuff
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah.
Like, I found that mind-numbingly dull.
Yeah, I generally don't like boss fights where you really don't get much of an opportunity to counterattack. And that
Yeah,
is the second phase of that fight in a nutshell.
I got hit so many times during that second phase because,
Yeah.
as I mentioned before, I suck at dodging, and that
It,
includes like moving side to side. Apparently,
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
I'm bad at that.
it's kind of weird. Like I think it was like the second time I did the boss fight, I realized that one of the like attacks he does where he throws stuff, you're supposed to stand still. Like that's how you avoid it. You're supposed to just stand still, and that, like it took a while
Yeah.
before I realized that, and then it became way easier.
What?
That made the fight feel a lot more scripted, and I didn't like that. Like the whole that fight is probably one of the creepiest experiences in the original game for me because it's just so
Yeah,
gross
especially
to have his
with the
torso.
music.
Yeah, it's just like really eerie, and I feel like the atmosphere of that in the second stage is just lost in the scripting because he's just hanging back at the back of the barn tossing stuff at you. Like you don't even really get to experience his model changing. where it's just a torso flinging himself around the barn at you.
Hmm.
Like it's not that scary anymore because it just feels scripted. So yeah, that was disappointing to me.
Also, a little bit on the topic of Mendes in his house. I like that they kept a guy on the toilet, like in the original.
Yeah.
The first
Creepy
time I
bastard.
went in that and like was immediately faced with that villager on the toilet, it was a little bit like a jump scare. I jumped in my chair, but I immediately started laughing because I was like, "Oh, it's the toilet guy from the
Oh, poor
original."
toilet
Yeah,
guy.
good
He
old
even
toilet
sat
guy.
down this time.
He sat down, and it wasn't a urinal with toilet paper this time.
I think I tested like if you don't shoot him, like he will still mutate for whatever reason.
Mm.
Yeah, that seems scripted to always happen. That's really
Yeah.
weird.
I
He
was
had to-
actually wondering
He had
about
to
that.
get a really big poop out.
Oh god.
I see.
It caused him to mutate. Jesus.
Yes.
Too much
Hell of a
What
virus.
information.
constipation will do to a man. This apparently.
Oh god. No.
Ah!
No. Ah.
The dithered shadows. No.
Any
It looks
thoughts on El Gigante?
The fight isn't that different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
felt
It's very
about the
faithful.
same to me.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most faithful boss fights in the game.
But
And it was
they
still
did
really
more with the
fun, too.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the dog's role is slightly expanded, like he bites his foot.
I'll admit, the first time I saw that, I was afraid the dog was about to be hurt, and I was ready
Yeah,
to be
same.
sad.
Yeah, I was
Luckily, it
really
was
worried
okay. I
about
was
that
like,
too.
oh, thank God.
Also, something kind of related to that, because I think it happens in that area where the fight is later. Another homage they paid to the original was that they kept that group of crows that you can kill with the flash grenade.
Yep.
Oh
That
yeah.
was cute.
I loved
That's
that.
that's how I got that achievement.
Also, if you
Jeez.
go back to the previous screenshots like this, you'll see Ashley getting stuck on geometry. I had
Oh,
that a few
no.
times in the
Oh
game.
no.
Hmm.
Also, yeah, I used the mod to play as Ada for most of my first playthrough, so nice and chaotic immediately using mods.
Oh wow.
I was entertained for a good 2 or 3 minutes when I found out if you aim anywhere close to Ashley, she crouches and starts running in circles around you, and
Yeah.
I did that for 2 minutes straight. Has that helped inspire the mouse? How do you say it?
Mousely?
I
don't
do
know.
like that meme.
Yeah, that
That's-
meme's fine.
It's cute. Do you know what I don't like though? The bolt thrower.
Yeah, I was
I do
gonna
not
ask,
like-
did anyone actually like using the bolt thrower?
I used
I
it
like
so
it for
much.
skips.
Oh
I
really?
like
The
it
only
for
time I've
skipping.
used it was in the shooting range.
I have used the bolt thrower for most of my playthrough
Oh,
because
wow.
the game was so freaking stingy with giving me TMP, shotgun, and rifle ammo. I had
Oh.
I want to say 40 bolt thrower bolts at the end of the game,
Oh wow.
and it was one of my go-to weapons for most of the playthrough.
I feel like I would like it way more if it didn't have such a slow equip
Travel
animation,
time?
like
Oh.
holding up to your face. Like that animation is so slow. Like starting to
It
aim.
is really slow, yes. But yeah, I like using it. But in the original I've also used the mine thrower a lot, which this basically replaces.
Yeah.
But I think this is worse than the mine thrower.
I mean, maybe in some ways, but I also I'm a sucker for crossbow type weapons, which this is. So
Well,
It
it
certainly is that.
separate ways. Then she'll
Hmm.
have a proper
maybe.
crossbow.
I remember when I briefly tried the bolt thrower, I was a little confused. Like I had mines left, but I'd run out of bolts. So I was confused. Like, wait, I'm out of bolts, but I have mines. Can't I just shoot the mines instead? I did not understand initially that the mines are attached to the
Yeah.
bolts. So if you have no
Mhm.
bolts, you can't shoot mines, even if you have mines.
I remember
That annoyed me.
I remember one room that had a very sad ending because I accidentally shot a bolt a little bit up high up on like
Yep.
a wall, like maybe
You can't
here,
grab
and
it
then
back.
like Leon, please just jump and grab it, please, Leon, just jump and grab it.
I've done that a few times as well. Like when I'm aiming at an enemy's head and they like dodge out of the way and you just shoot the ceiling and it's like, well, that bolt's gone forever.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, this thing shoots mines. Those things explode. It should do a lot of damage, right? Wrong. Tried it against El Gigante, tickled him.
Many things tickle him.
Tickle, tickle. Whoa, I
That's a
never had
good
that big of a
weapon.
scope on bolt action rifle.
Right. Okay. Can I talk sniper rifles for a bit?
Okay,
Yeah.
sniper rifles.
All right. So, for anyone who's been watching us for a long time now, you probably know the divide in our opinions about sniper rifles. Like, I'm the biggest simp for the semi-auto rifle in the original
Same here.
RE4, and of course we have Sectus and
Yeah, like
other
we have
people in the
me
bolt
with the
action
right
camp.
opinion. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Shush.
Mhm.
I like both.
However, when I was first playing through the remake, I guess you could say I made the mistake of trying to play it like the original. I advise don't do that. This is a different game. It is
Yeah,
my
this is
opinion.
RE4, not RE4.
Yes, that is technically true. So yeah, so initially I stuck to my old way. As soon as the semi-auto rifle, which is now called the Stingray, became available, I sold the bolt action and switched to it. I later would come to regret this decision because I feel they've nerfed the Stingray quite a bit in, at least in terms of raw damage. Like
Yeah, yeah.
The
Like, when
damage
you-
isn't great, but it has a very high crit rate if you use a scope. Like I think headshots are pretty
Speaking of
much guaranteed
scopes.
crit.
the scopes affect crit rate.
Speaking of scopes, I don't like how they feel in this game.
They are
I
a bit
don't like
wobbly.
that when you use a rifle without a scope that it becomes Call of Duty.
I have never used the sniper with the iron sights,
It
and I'm glad I
goes first
didn't
person.
because because like I've seen sectors use the iron sights, and I was like,
I
"Oh my
actually,
God, that
I
looks
actually like
hideous."
for almost my entire playthrough, I only use bolt action rifle without any scope whatsoever. I really appreciate you can finally use a rifle without scope, but I do wish it was third person rather than iron sights. I feel like that is kind of
Yeah, I
awkward.
agree.
I will also say, like with the scopes, they gave me like super crazy frame drops. So like that was that was a big reason why I never use a scope.
Oh yeah,
It also
actually,
just-
about
it just
that, I
feels
remember
kind of weird.
I
I'm not
saw
sure
a
how to describe it.
tweet from Alex Battaglia from Digital Foundry. I think he talked about how how they render the scopes in the RE4 remake, and he said he compared it. It was similar to how they do it in like one of the Arma games, which was surprising.
It is rendering two like viewports. Like it's
Yeah.
running the game twice. I think a mod actually found like the render settings for the scope to like increase or decrease its resolution, which will like impact frame rates.
It also made the image a lot darker when using a scope. At least I had that. That you could see around the edges of the scope when zooming, and everything outside of that and the normal third person view was a lot brighter than when using a scope. Like it made the whole game darker when looking through a scope. I
It
don't know
also
if
lets you
anyone
do
else
some really
had-
sick glitch skips.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
That's funky.
All right.
Because it moves you back for some reason.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, the point I was getting at is that for the moment, the bolt action rifle is currently my favorite sniper in the remake, which I would never would have said about the original.
Like this, Sectus, don't let him live this down.
That said, that said, I actually want to mess around a bit more with the new quote sniper unquote that they added to the remake, the assault rifle.
Oh, I hate that
boy.
one.
It's but
I
you'll
have
run out of
not
ammo in
used it.
2 seconds.
Granted, it does pack a punch.
It
The
is
place
funny
that
they
they
added it,
introduced
but it
it
doesn't seem
to
like a
us-
practical weapon unless you have infinite ammo.
It seems especially impractical where they gave it to us too for the regenerators. Like, does it even have enough piercing power to get to the things in 1 or 2 shots? Like,
Wait, are you
to-
talking about
No.
SMG?
Oh wait, is that a different weapon?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is the assault rifle. The same assault
Carlos's.
rifle Carlos has in the RE3 remake, but they made it use sniper rifle ammo in this game.
Yeah, you find it when you're backtracking through Ashley's section as Leon. There's a hidden thing you can use the cubic device on, and it has the assault rifle in it.
I remember
If
getting that,
I,
but I'd never tried it.
If I skip ahead to yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
Yeah.
This
there
is
it is.
Yeah,
assault
I
rifle.
got that. That uses rifle ammo?
Yep,
Yeah.
this is rifle ammo.
Yep.
I haven't really used it yet myself, but I kind of want to because it might be like the better semi-auto rifle, because when it's fully maxed out, it does more damage per shot than the Stingray, and that's not including the weak point bonus.
Yeah, I just want to warn you a little bit though. Like, as with the rifles, it is always iron sights without a scope.
Well, I would put at least the ACOG on it anyway.
Can you
I'm
put a
not-
scope on that one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
you can put any scope on it.
Well, I completely ignored that weapon after picking it up.
Yeah, I did the same. I kind of want to give it a try because, like, with the damage output, it could become a real boss shredder if you can control the recoil.
The
This is
screenshot.
this is a funny screenshot. I like this screenshot.
I tweeted this out after I had this cutscene where I put the caption "Trust no one, not even yourself."
Never.
This is an RE6 screenshot.
So many people quote tweeted that with just Resident Evil 6 or RE6. But yeah, I thought this was funny. This was like one of those silly moments that I got because I was playing as Ada for, I want to say, 2/3 of the game.
Oh wow.
And yeah,
This is like cute. Like
so cute.
Like
Yeah,
this in the
that was
shooting
like,
range.
that's pretty cute.
And she also like comments like during the entire thing as you shoot targets. Like it's yeah, it's
She
just so
is
much more
a
personality.
Lewis does
Backseat
too. Did you know
gamer,
that?
which is really funny.
It's
You know
funny
you can
until
also
you try
take
to S
Lewis
rank the
in there
last
with you.
shooting range
Yes,
with her.
I love Luis's banter when you take him here.
Yeah. He gets a little excited about it if you do a good job.
The fact that they react to it and like say stuff as well when you're leaving, like Ashley going like, this reminds me of like going to a carnival when I was a kid or something like that, like from like shooting galleries there. It's like stuff like that is such a cute detail. They didn't have to do it and they did.
And also her delivery is crazy good. I feel like Ashley is definitely like, I think she has definitely the best voice acting in the game. Like everything she says, it just sounds supernatural.
Yeah.
Speaking of the shooting range as well, that
bonus round
music
theme.
though.
Yes. Who'd have thought they'd take that one bit of music from the intro of the original and just expand it so much?
Shooting range is great.
It's great, but man, it's
Except
so
for the
much
last one.
harder than the original.
Yeah, it's hard, but I love that they expanded this as well. Like this is another one of those things they just expanded, and so many touches and whatever.
I mean, who would have expected them to go yar har fiddle dee dee with it all?
It's also funny if you don't play the shooting gallery, like you enter this area and leave. The merchant says, "Oi, you leaving already? I took so long setting this up." Like he comments on you leaving.
That's a funny line. I have
Stuff
one
like that is
Throw
great.
an egg at him.
Oh, poor merchant. I have one complaint about shooting range. I don't think it's quite visible here, but like, you see sides of like the gacha machine.
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, I like that it gives you the charms, which are the classic models. But
yeah,
the fact that it's obtained through coins in a gacha system, I wasn't a fan of that either.
Yeah.
I right. 4 playthroughs I've done. I still don't have the striker charm.
Oh wow!
I got that my first playthrough. I got the striker
as well.
I got the striker and the one that increases your melee attack power in my
I
first
got that one
playthrough,
as
and
well. Yeah, like melee critical or something.
Yeah, all right, I have that. I got that recently, and
weird thing
On the
is-
first one. Yeah,
I have the cute bear.
don't have that.
That's
The weird-
-1 gunpowder used when crafting.
Ooh.
Like the weird thing is that it is gacha, but it also like there are like specific like drop tables.
Yeah,
So-
like if you
And
like the amount of coins you use, like there's different drop tables for 3 silver, there's different drop tables for 2 silver and 1 gold,
yeah,
there's different drop tables for 2 gold and 1 silver, and a different drop table for 3 gold. But it's annoying you even have to learn that and
I
have to
agree.
reload your save to see what you
Well,
get.
I mean, like I don't think you're meant to learn. Like I think they made that to try to prevent cheating, because if they didn't predefine it, then you could just like reload until you got the exact thing, same like the exact thing you want. I think that's the reasoning behind it.
Mm.
Well, if you
I
want the striker charm, you just deposit 1 silver and 2 gold twice.
Isn't it randomized per playthrough?
I think it is. I've heard it is randomized per playthrough. And you have
Yeah,
to
that's
randomized?
do the
Huh.
loading on your own save to figure out what your drop tables are.
Yeah.
I've gotten a duplicate as well, so I'm assuming that that is not predefined that you're supposed to get duplicates.
Yeah. But I mean, I did enjoy the shooting range, but I feel like for replaying the game, I feel like doing the shooting range to get the gacha stuff, I feel like that might be tedious in the long run. So I feel like that
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
huge fan of the gacha stuff, to be honest.
It already feels pretty tedious for me. And I still have many
I was kind of
playthroughs to
hoping
go.
that the charms would carry over. I guess they do a new game plus, right?
They do. I still have
yeah.
all the charms I got previously, but
That is.
if
Well,
you're
that's
starting a new
texture.
game,
It's
yeah,
a water texture.
that's a texture.
It's making Leon look all sparkly
Oh yeah! Wow.
Yeah.
while he's looking angry.
So, oh yeah, so much like the original, one weapon category I haven't really messed with at all is SMGs. I haven't used any of them. What are your guys'
Me
thoughts about
neither.
the SMGs?
I think I like the TMP more in the original, mainly also because it has bigger capacity. I like using the SMGs because my go-to in the original was no pistol, SMG, basic shotgun, and whatever, probably Magnum usually. That was like my go-to loadout, and it does not work as a viable loadout in this game.
Yeah, all. Well, actually, no, I lie. There is one SMG I've used extensively, and it's the Chicago Sweeper, not typewriter. I keep wanting to say typewriter.
I
It's
still
a
say
Chicago
typewriter.
typewriter. It's
I
fine.
call it Tommy gun.
Well, yeah, it is a Tommy gun.
I call it gun go. Brrr.
Technically, they've nerfed it, but it's still the best weapon in the game because you can just fire it forever.
My only experience with SMGs is in Mercenaries so far, and Krauser's is pitiful.
Oh yeah, like the
Yeah,
one in
yeah.
Mercenaries feels weak. But I used both SMGs quite a lot in the campaign, and they felt pretty powerful to me. Like especially when upgrade. Like it is something I mainly like saved for like bosses or big enemies. Like they will drain their health super quickly.
I guess it's neat you can put scopes on the MP5, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I-
don't know really. Well,
I
I
used
guess
that against the Regenerator, like the first one, and unupgraded MP5 against Regenerator.
it's
Yeah.
bad. It's really
Yeah,
bad.
No,
It took
yeah, that's what
so
I was
much
talking about
ammo.
earlier.
It's so bad.
Why?
Oh yeah.
Also,
So
Krauser's SMG I like to use. I would like to use as a melee enabler, but I felt like its capacity in Mercenaries is
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
tiny.
I agree.
You
The
reload
capacity
it
was
so
too weak.
often, and the reload speed is really slow too. So it was
Yep.
it was obnoxious to try to even use it that way. Like if you can't use an SMG as a melee enabler, what's the point?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
talk about this screenshot for a second, like I thought that line was way too on the nose, especially the fact that it's not in the damn game.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Do you think in the Japanese version they say another order?
Probably not.
Yeah, I'd be
This
surprised.
is where we
No,
go.
this is
Are
where we go.
another.
Another order
I
at
guess you got
McDonald's.
another order, huh?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now I want chicken nuggets. Also, Leon looks really handsome in this screenshot.
He's had a rough go of it.
He is the baby girl.
It works for him. Yeah, the baby girl Leon.
I think my first playthrough was a similar time, though.
Yeah,
I
same.
played on hardcore difficulty.
I'm a coward.
I am also a coward. I also took standard.
Same.
I felt fine with
I
that.
did standard first also.
Also,
I feel like
I
the game is harder than the original.
yeah, like standard feels kind of mean for people for recommending it to people who have not played the original, as the difficulty screen says.
This does not say like the amount of deaths total, but I died so many times in my playthrough, like the first playthrough. I mean, like I mentioned, the Mendes chase, I want to say I failed that 6 times on my first playthrough. Cabin, I failed like 6 times on my first playthrough.
All right, so
So many deaths I had.
most deaths I had.
Does that say bingo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bingo and book club.
At 10 p.m.
Man, I never noticed that detail. But yeah, both times I died during my
Dispatch
first.
chopper.
Oh, that'll be Mike. Rest in peace.
That's cute.
Yeah, most deaths I had was definitely during the Salazar fight, and just getting used to how different that was. Like, okay, so as I'm sure you're all aware, Salazar has this attack where he tries to bite you, and if he bites you, that's instant death. Kind of
Yep.
like the original. Now, at first, I thought I would have to do something to stun and interrupt him, so I was just standing there and shooting him, trying to interrupt the attack. Nope. You just run away. I didn't think that would work because Leon runs kind of slow. I didn't think that would be enough.
I just put him on the floor because you can put him in like a stun/down state, and then I just rocketed him because I got killed pretty much instantly with that like one-hit kill attack, and I was so done with it at that point. Like I was not having the game shit at that point.
I probably had the money, but I didn't have the space for a rocket launch, and I didn't really feel like making space. So I ended up learning the fight. It took me quite a few attempts.
I just hoarded all the weapons and dumped everything in like the storage because I
didn't
never
use a
sold
rocket
a
my
single
first
gun.
playthrough.
Okay, until about the island, I didn't know the storage system existed in the game.
Oh no,
that's silly.
Like, I really wasn't paying attention when I was looking at the typewriter. I just went, "Oh, this is where I save my game and do nothing else."
I think it meant like select storage device.
Did you never equip charms?
No, I didn't know about all this stuff for ages.
I cheesed the storage mechanics so much because you can send weapons and first aid sprays to your storage from anywhere.
Yeah.
So if I would run out of ammo for a weapon, I would just be like, okay, off to the storage you go. I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, I would do that to save space. I think I end up like 8 first aid sprays in my storage by the time I got to Saddler.
I ended up with 12.
I had a few as well, but not that many.
I took a lot of damage during my first playthrough, so I definitely did not have first aid sprays to save. I kept using them.
I used a lot as well. I think by the time I faced Saddler, I want to say I had like maybe 2 or 3.
Speaking of Saddler, another boss fight that's mostly faithful to the original in a lot of ways, with one change I guess you could consider a bit annoying.
I would say multiple things about his fight were annoying. Aside from just the Vista doors being there, which
that was the annoying thing I was thinking of.
I didn't like them the entire game, so seeing them in the final boss made me really go like, ugh.
Did you try playing with them as cows?
I should have used the cow mod. Yes, I should have.
I will say though, like they're annoying, but if you pay close attention, they mostly just like fly around you and do nothing. Like they almost never actually attack you.
Personally,
that's weird because I felt like they were very aggressive to me the whole game. Like
really?
Anytime I saw them,
I mean specifically during the Saddler boss fight, like during that boss fight, like they really attack. I mean, otherwise they will like attack you left and right.
Okay, I haven't really noticed that.
I got the impression it worked in the way where only 1 or 2 of the bugs would be able to target you at a time during the boss fight. So like there were a lot of them just flying around not doing anything, but if you manage to keep distance between the ones that were targeting you, then it might as well be like they weren't even there.
One
hmm?
one nice change I think with the Saddler boss fight is that compared to the original, I find it easier to shoot the eyes and the back legs. Because in the original, I would often run into situations where the only eyes left were the ones in the back legs, and I would end up throwing grenades instead. But in the remake, I was just popping his eyes with a handgun.
Oh, that reminds me of another point. Random. Just because there's explosive barrels during the Sadler fight too, which they seem a
Yeah.
lot more effective during his boss fight than in the rest of the game.
Their explosive range is so small,
It's tiny.
especially
Yeah.
in mercenaries. They feel useless sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't feel very good, the explosive barrels.
True.
Before I forget, I just want to go back to the Zalazar thing. I don't remember my fight against him in my first playthrough. In my second playthrough, I just want to just casually point out that doing a run where you can't heal, you can't use upgraded weapons, and you can only use pistol and handgun, that boss fight is a lot harder. I think I was
can
only like
imagine.
over 30 minutes before I finally beat him.
Oh
Oh
god.
Yeah.
god, that sounds like hell.
I'm currently in the middle of making preparations for the knife and handgun only run, which I will be doing in New Game Plus. I'm not doing it in New Game. Oh, which actually reminds me of the thing I wanted to ask Icewave about.
Hello.
So, as far as I'm aware, Icewave is the only person here who has done he's got all the trophies on the
Yeah, I think
PS5
so.
version, which means you've done multiple S plus rank runs.
Oh yeah.
Could you tell us about your experiences going for those S plus ranks?
You've done that
Stressful.
already? Wow.
It's stressful.
Did you
Because
use infinite weapons?
I did.
Good.
I did,
But-
yeah.
But I imagine that would still be difficult because they don't start infinite. You have to upgrade them.
That is true. Basically, the village, if you do every merchant request in the village, you will have enough spinels to buy the
Spines.
ticket right away in chapter 7
Spinel.
Not till chapter
Spinel.
7.
when you get to the castle. Then you can buy the ticket and you can apply the exclusive upgrade, and then the Chicago Tower has infinite ammo.
Spinel.
Spinel. I want to try
I
S
bet
plus
you,
run without infinite weapons. I'm kind of curious how painful that is.
Do it.
That sounds painful.
It
It,
probably is.
it does seem pretty painful.
Do it playing as Ashley.
So I did it. I did do it in the cowardly way.
Oh.
Speaking of those requests that you mentioned, I think that's a really neat addition to the game. I like that. I also
Yeah.
like
Fun.
the
Yeah,
yeah. I
Oh,
thought that
yeah.
was fun.
like
I
mini
also
quests.
Side
like
quests.
the bosses that like the optional bosses, like the Golden Knight
Yeah,
and like
the
the
Golden
Super
Knight.
Dog. Although when I played the game on standard, I thought that all of those optional bosses were too easy. But I did really enjoy the addition of that mechanic and those extra bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they took the blue medallion side quest from the original game and they massively expanded it.
Yeah.
Those poor rats.
So many rats.
You kill quite a
But
few
my
rats.
spinels.
Yes.
Yeah, but the rats.
You know, I think what's like I don't know. It could possibly be my favorite enemy type in the game. Like these guys, like they were like just a
Yes.
throwaway enemy. Like you fight once in the original game. Like they're like super fun in like the remake. I love fighting these guys.
I
like,
love them.
Like they make like a
didn't
huge
like
clang
facing them as
sounds when you hit
Ashley.
them, and like
Also,
it's fun to parry them. They're great.
Yes, I agree. And the golden one was very fancy looking too.
I just
Nice
wish you could
big.
suplex them.
I was gonna say something, but I don't want to spoil people who haven't experienced it yet, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Haven't we all played the game?
If for anyone listening, if
Oh,
We
that,
have
I
been
haven't
going
played
into a
online.
lot of
Kind of fun.
spoilers,
Yeah, I
so
don't know.
Yeah.
But this is an important thing that people would want to be surprised by if they're playing on like hardcore professional for the first time. Just talking about knights, you probably know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
that's fair.
I haven't done those difficulties yet.
Is
I-
this something
I-
different between standard and hardcore? I haven't played
Yeah.
standards.
Yes.
I don't even know.
Yes,
Oh,
there is.
yeah.
No, shush.
Yes, and yeah, we won't say any more about that. I'm
But-
sorry if that was too much, but
I think the knights here, I think they're actually a bit fairer than the knights in the original because the Plagas is always partially exposed,
mhm.
and you can actually deal direct damage without having to knock their helmets off first.
Although it is terrifying when they start sprinting at you.
Yes, this is true.
No,
I
speaking
don't
of
think I've
sprinting at
had
you,
them
the
sprint at me.
regenerators.
I have.
I think it happens mostly in Ashley's section where like you have to pull the 4 different
Okay,
levers or
yeah,
whatever.
that
Yeah.
was. I died so many times as Ashley.
I think
Speaking of,
I think
go
I
ahead,
only
Ryman.
died twice the first time. And well, when you get the armor, well, this area is a complete non-factor. You,
Oh, yeah,
you
that's,
literally can't die once you have the armor.
You should have a fist fight with them instead.
Oh, if only the game would let me.
And also, I mean, if you just memorize the grandfather puzzle solution, you kind of just skip almost the entire Ashley segment.
Yes,
I really
although
like that the game lets you do that.
Wait, what?
yeah, if you memorize the time that you need to put into the clock, you can just
was-
skip it.
It was different for me on my second
It is
playthrough.
different. Like it is the same.
Oh yeah,
assist
on
and standard,
difficulties.
and then it's this is the same for like
Oh.
like hardcore and professional. So it's like 2 different times to remember.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
it's like 8-12 on hardcore and professional, I think.
And it's like 11 something, I think.
1104.
Yeah, 1104 on standard and maybe assisted as well.
Yeah. I was impressed that it was randomized because I was under that impression, but if it's not,
Nah, I don't
Yeah,
think.
I don't think any puzzles like some puzzles differ based on difficulty, but I don't think any of the puzzles are randomized.
Yeah, which is a good thing for if you're trying to speedrun and get those S plus ranks. Speaking of which, Icewave, do you remember what your time was when you did S plus? Well, let's say hardcore.
What time I got?
Yeah.
I think it was 3 hours and 53 minutes.
Damn, that's
Speedrunner.
fast.
Yeah, that's
World
plenty of
record.
time to
Speedy boy.
spare. Any thoughts on the Vertigo boss fight?
Didn't like it.
It was
It's
like
very
the
similar to the
original.
original.
Yeah, it's very similar.
And I thought that was okay in the original, so I think it's okay here.
It's also
okay.
very similar in that it's almost impossible to kill him without a rocket launcher.
I managed to kill him, but I
like,
spent a lot of ammo.
Yeah,
I-
I didn't use a rocket either because I forgot that I had dumped my rocket launcher in the storage. So I was like, well, Merchant doesn't have a rocket. I guess I'm defeating this guy normally. So I also thought that once you use the what's it called? The
Nitrogen
freeze-
showers?
Yeah, nitrogen showers. If you've used one and hit the Verdugo with it, I think you can't use it again.
They
But
did
if
seem
you've
to...
missed, it resets eventually.
Oh,
And
Yeah, that's true.
Huh.
I thought that it was used up forever. So I was like, well, I don't have any more of those nitrogen showers to use. So I just dumped so much ammo into the Verdugo, and I kept getting hit and not really stunning or dealing damage. So it just wasn't fun.
Yeah, on my first playthrough, I tried to kill him normally, but it was taking so much ammo that when the lift finally arrived, I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm just leaving.
I
He's got a lot of
considered
health.
leaving on the lift, yeah, but I wanted to defeat the Verdugo. So it was a combination of me being bad at games and being stubborn that it led to a lot of frustration and confusion.
And then on my first New Game Plus run, I was just barely able to afford the infinite rocket launcher right before facing him again. So that was fun.
That definitely would have helped.
Yeah. Although, man, recently I realized, oh yeah, I haven't done the challenge for killing him without using the nitrogen. I wonder how long that takes. And yeah, it takes several rockets to kill him without the nitrogen.
Oh wow.
Oh wow,
Yep.
Yeah,
that
lot of
is
health.
harsh.
I had to use
this,
my
this,
broken
rocket.
butterfly.
this was on standard.
What
I did
the
that on
hell?
hardcore yesterday, I think.
Like, it's at least 3 or 4 rockets if you don't freeze him. But if you freeze him, it's just 1 rocket.
That's kind of
Huh.
insane.
Yeah, that's.
I
that's,
believe
yeah.
the original was actually similar in that regard. So it's faithful, but it's, God damn it.
Funny how that's technically the strongest enemy in the game then.
Yeah,
Because I think even Sadler only takes a single regular rocket.
this is true.
Yep.
Well, I guess you could technically say 2 if you include the little ending bit.
No.
You can skip the whole ending bit if you have an RPG.
Yes, you can. It's very nice. Oh, also, pro tip: if you have the charm that reduces the price of the rocket launcher by 20%, it works for the infinite rocket launcher, reducing its price from 2 million to 1.6 million pesetas.
Oh, that's nice.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
Do we have any thoughts on this character we're seeing right here?
She's fine.
I love
Yeah,
her.
she's fine.
She's so
She should have been
pretty.
in the game more, but she was fine.
When I remember, I told Andrew, um, my old roommate, I told him when I first encountered her, like I was blown away by her voice, by how mature it sounded, because that's not what I was expecting. And then we didn't really get to interact with her a ton throughout the main game. I guess that's coming, like more of her is coming in separate ways. But the rest of the interactions with her throughout the game, like I just kept being more impressed with how mature of a tone they went with her voice this time.
Yeah.
'Cause I think it fit their rewrite of that character,
I
and
feel
it
like
fit the scene a lot better.
I feel like over the course of the game, I had the same thing. Like at first, I was a little bit mixed,
Hmm.
but the more I saw of her, I was like, yeah, it's pretty. I like that. Yeah, I like this
I th-
take.
I know it's
It's
is it
controversial.
alienating? Is that yeah controversial because it's a very dramatic change from the original and from every other Ada in a game I guess that we've heard, but
Hmm.
I think like they 100% perfectly matched the mood of the character. Like she's not just she's not just this side character that's just a love interest of Leon to make jokes about women towards. Like there's a lot more to her character than that. And she's on a serious mission. Like she still fits in some quips and one-liners to Leon when they encounter each other, but you really get the impression that she's there to do her job and she doesn't have time for bullshit. And she gives off that really intimidating feel, I think, especially when you see her interact with Lewis too, because their interaction was kind of cute. Like she just couldn't be bothered to help him climb up the rock or anything. But once he got up there, like yeah, it's just I love her. This
Yeah,
is my favorite Ada.
it was interesting to see that cutscene at the beginning of Chapter 6 because in the original base RE4 game, like that cutscene was separate ways exclusive in the original. So, so it was interesting to see that. And with all the little changes they made to the base game, separate ways could end up being far more different than I imagine. Although, please keep in that Easter egg where there's a random villager wearing Leon's jacket, please.
Oh yeah, that would be so nice to see that. Wake up, Sectus.
I'm sorry. I hate to be super rude. Like I love all of the voice acting in this game. I didn't like any of Ada's delivery. I think she sounded super monotone to me.
It is
I
a bit
will
monotone.
I will
Yeah.
also like at the just also quickly just give us just a quick message like people on the
Right.
interwebs like
Mhm.
don't harass people because you don't like
Yeah.
Yeah.
what they did.
Yeah.
Also, just don't harass people. Period. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just be nice. Just be polite.
Couldn't agree more.
If
It's
you
ridiculous.
think the appropriate way to act if you don't like someone's voice acting is to harass them, the actor, go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah, like
what's
that
wrong
is.
with
Yeah.
you? You
Yeah,
have been
yeah.
misled.
As the actress herself, Lily, as she said, like criticism is fine and it's especially if it's like constructive, that is completely fair.
Yeah.
But straight up harassing people is
Yeah, this is messed up.
you're part of the problem if
Yeah.
you think that's acceptable behavior to treat
Yeah.
anyone. Lily was literally just doing the job that she was paid for,
And
she did not deserve any of the hate that she got.
Absolutely
can
not.
we
No
also
matter
like
how
just
you
take a
feel about
moment
her take.
to? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Jtegh, go ahead.
No, that was the last thing I want to say. Like, no matter how you feel about her take or her performance, it does not give you the right to harass this person.
Exactly.
It went through a director. It went through Capcom. They said that's good.
Yeah.
And I think she did fantastic. Like she is my favorite Ada. This
I
performance
like how she
blew me
I really
away.
like how she sounds like the comms, like the communication calls that happens over like the radio.
I guess I should
Nice.
be thankful. Yeah,
Yeah,
you should.
Like there's
Yeah.
she's really good sass in that delivery there.
The delivery is great to me, but I just want to point out really quick. Like, can we just take a moment to express how great it is that they finally cast an Asian woman to play Ada? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that should be
Fair
celebrated
point.
too. Like, that's fantastic. So
Yeah, I appreciate that.
good for her, and Lily should be able to enjoy that too.
Isn't that also the case with like all the Spanish-speaking people in the game as well? They actually hired
Yeah.
people who speak like the correct like dialect and stuff.
Oh, cool.
believe so.
From what
Unlike
I've
the
seen-
original, where they all spoke Mexican Spanish instead
God.
of Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you look at the credits for the game for like the voice acting section, when you get to the part where it says like ganado voices, it is a massive list of
Yeah.
Spanish people.
hmm
Oh.
And speaking of language and dialect, I just want to add another something big that scored Leon a ton of points was that he spoke Spanish in the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice
Like,
touch.
It actually showed that he did a little bit of research before going there. Maybe he's got a little background where he has
High
studied
school
another language and he's
Spanish.
not just a
Exactly.
yeah.
Like the whole intro scene is just it's a lot more like believable, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, he's
He
not
wouldn't show
walking
up in
into
a
a random Spaniard's house and start speaking English and then goes,
and making
"Sorry
fun of
to have
them for
bothered."
yeah, literally, yeah.
I had
And
no
then
choice but to neutralize him.
Oh no.
the only
Leon,
the
why?
only thing that I would have asked for that they like go the extra mile is if they had Leon and Lewis have a full conversation in Spanish, because then I think me and a lot of other people would have melted at that. That would have been a pretty great scene.
Like Lewis has some like small bits of his dialogue where he like throws in some Spanish, which is a
Calls
lot more
Leon
than
Sancho.
yeah.
Oh yeah, what does that word mean?
Sorry,
Sancho.
I cut Jtegh off. We
Oh.
can cover that next. Sorry, Jtegh was saying.
I don't
like,
remember
compared to
what
the
I was
original.
saying.
You were saying compared to the original for Luis, like, did he speak Spanish at all in the original?
I think he like says a few words, but nothing close to this. And it just
Maybe
makes his
just
character more believable.
yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt so much. I just get excited.
That's
I
fine.
think we're all
okay.
excited.
I
Yes.
just wanna casually say that the castle parts of the game look kind of incredibly nice.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I feel like in with the original RE4, like I think I ranked like the areas village, castle, and island. I think with the remake, I think I like the castle the most. I feel like I think they did a good job, like just making the enemy encounters more interesting. Also, like it just looks so nice.
It's
Like
gorgeous.
all of these just areas look super nice.
I only have one issue with the game looking as good as it does. Before I played this, I was like, oh, I can hold it with my GTX 1080 for a while longer. And then
Nope.
this game comes along and says, like, no, you need to upgrade.
It is a demanding game.
On my 3090, I could play the other RE games that came before it, like completely maxed out without ray tracing, and it would be a locked 144 FPS. This game is not the case. Even without ray tracing, it does not even remotely run at a locked 144 for me. I am anywhere between 60 and 144 with a 3090.
I had to turn down quite a lot of settings to like medium, and I'm running at like 80% of my monitor's resolution because the FSR implementation of the game is apparently a bit blurry and not very good. Otherwise, I'd be using that instead. And it's mostly in like the 60 to 80 range, but there's like the bit after you've rescued Ashley in Chapter 5 and you're going back through the village and it's raining, and then the frame rate just dies and goes into the 40s. And then, like I mentioned earlier, no hair strands for me. It cuts the performance too much.
But look at those hair. Oh, never mind.
I really can't believe how Palpatine he looks now.
Any thoughts on Salad? Did they speak about him? At, I can't remember.
We briefly did.
Talked about him.
We
the
touched
boss,
on.
I remember.
Well, we also touched on how he's not in the game as much as in the original.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is true.
I like the original a bit more. He has more of a presence there.
I mean, hell, if I recall, in the remake, like Leon doesn't have an actual face-to-face with Sadler until the island when they're in front of the Amber, the big Amber. Which that's a lot later than in the original.
Is it?
And Leon just shoots him in the face.
That is one thing I just want to say I like, by the way. Like, almost every encounter where, like, Leon has a gun pointed at the boss during a cutscene, he just shoots immediately. I really appreciate that.
I
like
laughed.
Finally, happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I laughed.
When he shot the Salazar in the face, I was cheering like an idiot.
I laughed so hard when he did that. I was like, yeah, we've had enough of your bullshit. Go away.
You talk too much.
It's also it's a trope that I super dislike in games and movies where you have two characters like aim guns at each other but not shoot. Like just one of you just pull the trigger, you'll win. Just do it.
Stop this monologue. You have the thing in your hand to make them stop monologuing. Do something.
That reminds me of the RE5 scene with what's Irving, where Chris and Shiva are just talking to him and pointing guns at him, but
yeah,
not pulling the trigger. Also, Ryman asked, just in case people listening wanted to know, Sancho, I think, comes from that's Don Quixote's sidekick, and I think like Leon was calling Luis Don Quixote.
Yeah, he did. At least after he died.
So I'm assuming that's why he calls Leon Sancho.
Yeah.
Who are you calling Sancho?
Yep.
Let us rescue the Princess Dulcinea.
You're gonna get yourself killed.
Did we talk about the minecart sequence?
No,
because it's still
the
on my
Donkey Kong
notes.
Country sequence.
Yes.
I have a screenshot. Maybe we'll just talk about it when we get to that screenshot.
Right.
I just want to quickly say that I think I really like the direction the voice actor went with. So like he sounds like a crazy demented leader, while in the original game he just sounds like a generic villain dude. Like I like the direction with this guy.
In the original, they made him go like, "Yes, it is me," like this really weird voice.
He sounds kind of campy in the original game.
He sounds like
Don't forget
overly
the interaction when he tells Leon that he has sent it after him.
Oh yeah.
Can't remember the name. Seen your moment pass. Oh.
Yep.
He's all like up there. It's pretty good.
We haven't talked about the most iconic recasting in the game yet, with Margaret Thatcher as Salazar.
Do you want to talk about Salazar some more?
I
like to put a picture of Margaret Thatcher.
I'm sorry.
Side by side comparison.
I like the way this guy talks as well.
Yeah. The voice acting was great for him.
I just prefer the old one a little bit more.
I feel like the new one just has a lot more personality. I feel like the one good thing about the original was that it was really high pitched. But I don't know.
Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy. I mean, that is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just really like the new voice. I think this is this the voice actor that did a lot of other stuff as well. I think the same voice actor
Yeah.
also like voiced on a ton of Gonad. He voiced the El Gigantes. He voiced Dr. Salvador. I think he also said that he might have voiced the Bella sisters.
Right, yeah.
Which is pretty amazing if true.
I think he said he did record voices for them, but it wasn't confirmed if they actually ended up using that.
Yeah, that was said. Like he said that he had done a take, but he had no idea if it was actually used or not in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to find something we haven't talked about yet.
While you're searching for a screenshot of stuff we haven't talked about, it's like the last negative nitpicking point I had. When you're like on the lake after defeating the Lago, the controls on the boat felt so weird that it gave me motion sickness. Like
Oh no.
it felt like the boat from RE8 that you could like control and like drive around in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, it's like a minor thing, but yeah, like the camera controls also get like locked when you're using the boat.
Yeah.
And that was like really triggering like motion sickness for me.
I only really have one little quibble about the boat, and that's okay. So the on-screen controls say hold aim, right mouse, and press left mouse to fire. But if you let go of aim, he will throw a harpoon.
Yeah, like that's
Mhm.
Like
That was really finicky.
he did not do that in the original. If you let go of aim, he just put the harpoon down. He didn't throw it.
The controls for that is a little bit weird. Also, well, this is one thing I never learned by myself when playing the game is that if you like the longer you hold down the aim button, the more powerful the throw will be. That's something I didn't realize.
Really?
Yeah.
I assumed that.
I did not know that at all. That explains why it feels like the fight takes so long for me, because I could just throw my harpoons immediately.
There's another mechanic as well. Apparently, the boss will heal himself sometimes when underwater.
What?
Going underwater, it will heal up between 60 and 80% health. You can one cycle this boss with like 7 harpoons if you're quick enough.
Yeah, that seems silly.
God, yeah, that explains so much, because whenever I do that fight, it always feels like it takes me forever.
On my second playthrough that I started, I think I defeated that boss in under a minute because I like spammed the harpoons.
Oh wow.
And yeah, that I just didn't let the Delago dive, and you just win.
But wait, how'd you prevent it from diving though?
You just throw the harpoons real quick. If it never dives, it never restores health, and you just win. You just have to be really quick and lucky that the
but you
that
also
the
have
cycle
to hold the aim longer for it to do more damage.
you don't have to, but I think there might also be like an exploit where if you put a harpoon down and then immediately throw another one, that one will deal more damage.
Huh. Where's?
Oh,
Or at
also,
least I'd read something like that.
Also, for anyone wondering if they kept a specific Easter egg relating to Del Lago involving shooting the lake, yes, they did.
Oh! Speaking of Easter eggs in Delago, I don't know if surely it was intentional, but they like the design of that entire section where you're steering the boat, like it's almost feels like a mirror to Resident Evil 5's marshlands level.
It's very similar
It's
to
like
that. Yeah.
The free red 9 in the middle.
Yeah, a boat you can go to in the middle
yeah.
to get a weapon, and then the chicken
Island.
section. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really happy that they did that.
I hadn't thought of that connection, but yeah, it is kind of similar. I was
Surprisingly similar.
I was very surprised when I found that red 9 in the middle. Like, oh, okay.
It was unfortunately spoiled for me, which is why I knew that I had to go get it.
I just want to quickly say that.
Yeah, I liked that section. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think it's a neat touch. You do this fight alongside Lewis, and there's like an optional ending where, like he will like put dynamite in this guy and you shoot it. Like, I like that. Like, there's like optional ways you can like do this fight. You can just like drop down a guy with this. You can just shoot them. Yeah, it's stuff. I like stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, here we go.
also, oh yeah, the minecart section. Yeah, I just there's also another funny thing where if you kill one of them and then let Lewis go to get the dynamite, and then you kill the other one before he comes back, there's extra dialogue.
Oh, really? Haven't had
Yeah,
that
where he
one.
says
I
like,
didn't
"Oh,"
know that.
he says Lewis says something along the lines of, "Oh, what? You didn't save any for me?"
That's funny.
There's one thing I was curious about that I haven't encountered is if they made it so the one sinking into the lava can grab Leon and pull him in with him. Can that
I
happen?
don't think
I-
that can
I
happen
don't
here.
think so.
I haven't seen any evidence of it, but I also don't know.
I also
'Cause
haven't
that did
even
happen in the
managed
original.
to drop one in the lava. Every time I tried,
yeah.
because they would like just be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna stand on there." They would
Yeah,
like walk away every time I tried using the thing, so
Yeah,
I
I
just ended up
think-
killing them normally.
Yeah, I think you have to stun them on the grate, otherwise you're just not going to be able to drop them.
Mhm.
Every single time I've just killed them the normal way. I've never dropped them in.
Same. I like doing it that way.
Plus, also you can if you have the infinite rocket launcher, you can literally kill both of them with a single rocket right at the start of the fight.
Oh, yikes.
But can you use the Deadman glitch to skip the fight?
No. Right. do.
Minecart mayhem.
This sequence is just insane. Like this, I just like for a second I just thought like, was I playing RE6 right now? Because this just goes absolutely bananas. I also
Yes,
love how
as it should.
happy the chainsaw enemies look during this part.
Yeah. Although it did take me quite a few attempts to do this no damage.
Yeah,
Which
there's
is a
lots of
I think I
small
challenge.
ways
took
you can
one
get
hit on my first playthrough. One hit, otherwise I would have gotten that.
Same.
Like every single previous attempt, I only got hit once. But I do have a tip for anyone else who is struggling with this. You don't have to constantly shoot the chainsaw man. Just wait until he starts revving up and is about to swing at you, then shoot him to interrupt him. That'll be enough.
What if you
Pro
miss?
tips.
Well,
That's sad.
I have only one other piece of advice for that.
The cat's
Don't
tipping
miss.
over.
Don't
Shit, this thing's gonna flip.
miss.
Is it like a unique death animation if you get killed by a chainsaw here?
No, the cart just explodes.
Oh, don't think I've seen that happen.
Oh, that's
Kaboom.
amazing.
Oh, yeah, I was curious on my hardcore playthrough because I like the chainsaw guy here, so I was just letting him exist. And
You
then
look so
he cut my
happy.
He's
cut
so
my
happy with
minecart,
his
and I
cart.
realized how much damage he does to the minecart when he hits it.
That's a lot.
I was like, oh, I'm almost dead. But he was happy,
Infinite
so it
ammo.
was worth it.
Yeah, you must have been happy there. An infinite ammo red 9.
Oh yeah, I learned also during my hardcore playthrough that you'll have that red 9 to use no matter what's in your inventory. Because like I was
Yep.
confused.
Yeah.
My first playthrough, I had a red 9 equipped when I started this, so I thought, oh, it's just letting me use it with infinite ammo. But nope, you'll get it no matter what.
Yeah, doesn't matter if all you've got is a Chicago sweeper and an infinite rocket launcher. It's still a red 9 during this part.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Ooh, I'm beat.
Do we want to talk
Recovering
about Krauser?
stolen goods. Didn't I teach you? Knives are faster.
I think we did talk about
I don't know
this
if I
fight.
have
Or
much to
like,
say about
this is
him.
way better
Yeah.
than the original.
Yeah,
We did.
I think we did touch on a little bit. Like, I like how they've expanded his backstory a little bit with all the stuff you could find in the tent. Also, I actually missed something on the first playthrough. I missed the tape recorder where he's talking.
I think I
Yeah.
also missed that.
In the tent.
Yeah, in the tent. Like I saw the RPD Leon picture. I saw the dog tags, and then the note which is like Krauser's mission detail for Ashley's kidnapping. I saw all that, but I missed the tape recorder.
I definitely missed the tape recorder, so I'll need to get that on my second playthrough.
Yeah, it's an interesting listen, that's for sure.
Okay.
And then there's the second Krauser fight itself, which I guess in some ways it's still fairly faithful to the original, but well, what do you guys think?
I used knife and TMP like I do in the original.
I had
Let's
fun
try,
with the fight. I
I was
think I
gonna say
enjoyed
that
his fight more in the remake. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that I think I did one attempt with knife. It went nowhere. Then I just unloaded with the guns, and then it died very easily.
Yeah, I mean, in the remake, you're more using the knife to parry and whatnot. Whereas in the original, the knife would do considerably more damage to him than it would do most other enemies in the game, and it would stun him easier. But in this, it's more just parrying. That's pretty bad dithering, yeah.
I think this is due to
Dithering.
FSR right here. I think this is maybe like switch cut something like, and then the image quality went where it's good with actually though I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Oh, also,
hmm?
I will. One other thing about the cursive, there's one line he says in that fight that I just find it very silly. It's that part where he goes like, "I can't wait to see you writhe." It's just, I cannot take that seriously.
He's so over the top.
Yeah, he is very over the top. But it fits him.
Did you guys prefer like running Salazar statue or flamethrower Salazar statue?
Flamethrower.
Well,
My thumb was grateful.
well, on the one hand, running from a giant robot thing is sillier and funnier, but it's also a QTE fest.
Yeah.
A QTE
Yeah.
fest, which is much harder to complete on the Ultimate HD edition running at 60 FPS.
Did they ever fix that?
No.
The HD Project mod apparently, or rather the RE4 tweaks program that comes with it apparently makes some adjustments to make those QTEs easier, but the base game did not receive any more fixes to that effect.
That's silly.
Whereas in this, the flamethrower is an interesting obstacle at first until you realize you can just completely bypass it by shooting the explosive barrel on the back of its head, and then it's just not even a thing anymore. Which
Yeah.
I've done in every single. Yeah. There's an explosive barrel on the back of his head, and if you shoot it, it just destroys the statue. And
What the hell? I didn't know that.
Me either. Not the first time round.
I
It's
wish
a very
I did
small.
because it was really annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine. Although crushing the enemies with the big spiky balls, that was fun.
I had fun with that too, yeah.
I dropped a few boulders down those stairs.
It was satisfying. I will say that I like throughout the entire island section.
Desperate Escape.
I just kept thinking, hey, it just looks and feel like Desperate Escape from Mario Party. Like I just kept
Yeah, I
thinking
can
that
see
throughout
that.
all of Ireland. I do think
yes.
Island is.
PJ.
The
I find it-
Jtegh replacement.
I did find it more fun than the original, but I think I will still say that it's the weakest part of the game overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the area with the regenerators and like getting Ashley back, but other than that, I didn't really like the island at all.
I killed all 4 of them.
Oh no!
Yeah, I killed all of them as well. I wanted the gems.
Like I knew which one had the wrench. I still killed them all.
Oh wow!
I didn't. I like happened to see the one with the wrench last. But yeah, I ended up killing all of them.
Because all right, so in the remake, you are during your first playthrough, you are deprived of the biosensor scope for a lot longer than in the original. Like in the original where you would get it, there's an MP5 instead, which I was a bit miffed about because I struggled on that puzzle for quite a while.
That puzzle is yeah, it's pain, especially on hardcore. It is. It's pain.
Yeah, on standard, I thought the puzzle was okay. The puzzle I yelled at for 10 minutes was the kind of slide-y puzzle by the lake.
That one.
I messed that up like to the point where it took me like 10 minutes to complete that puzzle.
Yeah, because it doesn't reset when you leave it.
No, it doesn't. Like that. Yeah, that puzzle was not fun. I take back all the mocking I have done of people with the slide puzzle in the original.
It is
just because of that puzzle.
Speaking of the slide puzzle, like it has one similarity on standard difficulty, which is that The starting state is only 2 moves away from the solution.
No one's gonna
Yeah, I
believe me,
heard
but
that
I
as well.
accidentally solved it that way on my first playthrough. I just
Wow.
before I even understood how the puzzle worked, I moved one of them, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll move this one next," and it was done before I even realized what I was doing.
I wish I had that. Like I said, I really spent like at least 10 minutes on that puzzle.
Yeah, I definitely spent the most time on the MP5 door puzzle. That took me a while to figure out.
I think the same for me.
Clicky,
Oh.
clicky, clicky.
Oh
That's all you have
yeah.
to do is click.
So yeah, so they replaced the Ashley driving the digging machine with Ashley operating a wrecking ball machine.
This is
I
pretty
like
fun.
that. I like that
Yeah.
change.
Yeah,
I'm leaving
Eh.
it to you, Leon.
that line is
I'm leaving
ingrained
it to
in my
me,
brain.
Leon.
I got this.
Oh, also, pro tip: if you lob an explosive at the crack in the wall, it only takes 1 smash of the wrecking ball to go through, and you skip a large section of the defense
Yeah.
segment.
You
Oh.
can also skip this entire area by clipping through the gate with a sniper rifle.
Yes, you
opening it.
can. I haven't
no.
tried that, so I don't know how difficult it is to do that consistently, but you can
Don't
do
even
it.
need a sniper rifle.
Oh,
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't?
I
No,
guess you just
can
need a
do it without
scope.
No,
Yeah, okay,
you
yeah.
can do it. You can do it without a scope in general.
Really?
Like if at that door, if you crouch down, you walk up, like, and you walk backwards up to the door, then Leon does like this little stop animation that has him like clipped a little bit through the door. So if you turn the camera around fast enough and you mash the open door, he might just clip through the door and end up at the other side.
Huh, all the
That's
examples
amazing.
all the examples I've seen have used
Which is pretty cool.
one of the sniper scopes to do it.
Maybe that's more consistent.
Maybe.
It
Probably.
is. What is the power?
That's another funny line during that segment.
He's so
It's not
over
meant
the
to be
top.
funny, but it is funny.
He feels like a villain from like an Arnold movie in this game now, I feel.
That's the difference between me and you, Loki. Yeah.
I like doing the Paris in this fight. I thought that was fun. Oh yeah, and this, yeah, they even made the death scene with Kraus is sad. Everything is so sad
Kraus
now.
was proud of him.
Ray tracing?
No, even with it off, you still see the reflection.
And he's 30 FPS.
I was about to ask, like, do you think this is just a pre-rendered video? If it's 30 FPS, then it must be a pre-rendered video.
And the water, like when you defeat the log and you see Leon's reflection in the water, that's definitely like a pre-rendered 30 FPS.
Wow.
I don't know how they did it because at the beginning and also in the demo, there's like a reflection when a Ganado steps in like a puddle. And that is not ray traced, but it is still showing your actual character model because I modded that Leon in the demo and it showed the modded outfit.
Oh.
Hmm.
Treasures. The treasure models are so detailed. I spent so much time just like zooming in on these, looking at them. They're so shiny. They're also shiny. So
They're about as
detailed.
good as Uncharted, which I like.
Some of the environments just look super good in the game.
So one complaint I remember some people had about the original was like they didn't realize about the whole treasure combining system in the original, so they missed out on a lot of money they could have had.
Yeah.
So you can tell they definitely took that feedback to heart and they simplified the treasure system a bit. But they also added some interesting new mechanics with the whole combining gems of different colors to increase the value.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm a little annoyed about is that it doesn't show a button prompt to show you the guide for like what bonuses you get. You just have to
There's
know
a
to press
prompt.
the shift key. Are you
There's a
sure?
There is like a
prompt.
there,
Yeah,
yeah,
there
there
is,
is a
yeah.
yeah.
There's a prompt.
Yeah.
It's
I know
hidden a bit
that's
in the corner, I think.
mm,
Yeah,
I definitely
it's
remember a
like
prompt saying like press square for like something something.
yeah, it's like when you go to the inlaid gemstone screen, there's a prompt in like the middle left of the screen that says shift gemstone bonuses.
I don't
Sectus, can
believe
you go back
you.
to the picture? I wanna talk
Oh,
about that
I
in
mean,
a
I
sec.
could go into the game and take a screenshot right now.
Do it. Am I
Uh,
that blind?
I am pretty sure the prompt was there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mm.
So yeah, this is something I wanted to mention because this is like one of my notes I still have. I thought this was an interesting change to Luis's character, that they specifically made him like ex-Umbrella, and that
Yeah.
they tried tying this game closer to RE2 and 3 remake, also with like the intro of the game showing like RE2 remake flashbacks, and yeah, Luis being like ex-Umbrella and the Umbrella gear in like his lab. I thought that was a nice change to tie the
Yeah.
game more together.
Mm-hmm.
This time, it has to be different.
I like this shot with Leon and Ada together.
It's cool.
Makes me want the co-op game.
Oh yeah,
Oh god, Leon
yeah.
Ada co-op game, yes please.
I just hope like just RE9 just base it around this type of gameplay and give us
Mhm.
co-op and give us Becky. Best game ever.
And Jill.
Oh god, fucking Final Sadler. His like last mutation, I think I also died 10 times. I was out of healing ammos and you're
Oh,
on
no.
this super tiny platform. I got so frustrated with the game during this part.
Oh no.
I considered Alt F4ing and like coming back to it at a later point because I was. And on the last one was like, I'll try it one more time and otherwise I'll give up. That's when I finally beat it. I was so done with this fight. I had a pixel of health you can't maneuver, and there's like a specific attack that he does that you have to dodge like by walking to the side. And as
Yeah.
I've mentioned 4 times during this podcast, I suck at dodging. I was mashing the E button to do the evades that the game prompted me. And then there is one evade that you have to do manually by walking.
Yeah.
And I suck. I just suck.
Yeah, I remember being a little confused by this part because I was like, do I shoot him? I mean, there's an effect when I shoot him, so maybe I'm
Yeah.
supposed to shoot him, but it seems like it's more just you just wait for Ada to throw you the rocket launcher and then it's over.
I think it's either or, because eventually, because I was shooting it a lot, I feel like that made Ada drop it, but I don't know.
I guess we haven't talked about the jet ski escape yet.
I think it controls pretty well. There's a really fun little like Easter egg thing where you can do tricks of the ramps.
And you
Yeah,
get
like
money
in
for
the
it.
original.
What?
There's tricks in the original.
Oh, really? I
What?
don't think I ever knew that.
You can do
Really?
backflips with the jet ski in the original.
Oh wow, I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's definitely a thing, but I tried doing the tricks in the remake and I couldn't figure out if it was a thing, so I assumed it wasn't. So it's nice to know that it's a thing, but I don't know how to do it.
You just press the X button when you're on the ramp, and then you do it like I don't know. Well, I don't know what it is on what is on keyboard though.
I couldn't
It's
figure it out.
interact, so I'm guessing it's F.
Yeah,
Actually,
that would make sense. I think.
if I recall, it might actually be the space bar.
Oh, that's also possible. Yeah,
I think I tried space and it didn't work, but I
I'll just
also
mash
thought there
buttons
wasn't
next
a
time.
prompt for the shift button, so
It's
what
been
do I know?
It's been a little bit since I did the jet ski escape, and I still haven't been able to no damage this.
Did you miss the do a trick prompt, Aquamatey?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Where is it? Show
Okay,
it to me.
there's no prompt for doing tricks.
The truth comes out. Ryman was lying this whole time.
No, what do you know?
Anyway.
No, there is a prompt for the gemstones. There isn't one for the jet ski tricks.
I agree with Sectus that this is my favorite Resident Evil game in a long time. I enjoyed Village, which maybe Sectus didn't enjoy Village, but
I enjoyed the castle. I didn't really enjoy much else.
I had a good time throughout the entirety of Village, but in future Resident Evil games, like the new ones, I definitely would prefer them to go with the style of the 4 remake. Like this, I feel like it is a masterpiece of a game. Like they did such a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I think this might be my favorite campaign in the series, or at least like very close to it. Like I super enjoyed this.
I don't think there was any filler at all either. Like it
Yeah,
just
it's super well
the flow of the
paced.
campaign. literally the only thing I would remove is that forced walking section at the end that Sectus pointed out earlier. Like, that's it, and that's barely anything. So,
or make it
good
skippable.
job.
Like keep it for people who want to like have it,
Yeah.
but like I don't know.
Just let
Yeah.
Leon like eat a herb and then like just run forward. I don't know.
But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like 18 years ago, they Capcom made one of the best games of all time, and now here we are. They've remade it, and it's actually super close to being just as good.
Yeah.
It's mad. Kind of blows my mind a little bit.
I feel like there's one character we'll have to talk about here, which is
Oh, right.
this guy.
Excella.
Oh yeah. So sorry that
Yes.
Excella.
yes.
That's the
Redfield.
person I want to talk about. Very blurry here, but that's Excella right there. So what did you guys think about Whiskers here?
I
I
like
like him.
Yeah,
Completely new
I
voice.
want to see more of him,
yeah.
but I'm not really a fan of the outfits, but
Hmm.
modding.
I this one doesn't make me feel gross.
That is a very good statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, like a bunch of years ago, there were like two notable things that happened. Like he was DC Douglas was accused of a lot of like grooming fans something. I forget the details, but it
Yeah.
didn't seem like very okay behavior. And another thing he did
No.
was that he leaked concept art of this outfit,
Mhm.
and well, I guess it's safe to say like. One or both of those events very much led to Capcom going, yeah, let's throw DC Douglas out the window and let's just hire another actor to do the voice from now on, because it's just a whole
Mhm.
new voice for like Wesker in this.
Yep.
And I think he sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay with the change.
I
I like
definitely
his
curious to
visual
see.
design as well.
I'm definitely
Mhm.
curious to see what else Capcom will do with this iteration of Wesker.
I have an idea what they could do, but we'll see. Just
I mean, we'll
based off
probably
of that
see him in
monitor.
separate ways, and yeah, the
Yeah, probably.
RE5 thing in there.
This is the
That was
full
my
cast,
favorite
by
part
the
of the
way.
game.
Hmm?
My favorite 2 seconds was when they showed Excella on screen at the end. Like,
I think I have a
I never would have.
better screenshot of Excella later in this set. I think.
Okay,
Okay.
it is very important, so you should, yeah.
So, I guess there's one thing we haven't really touched on yet, and that's what didn't make the cut.
Tornadoes.
Oh, that's a
That's a
lot.
few.
That's a lot. Wow.
So
Yeah,
many.
that's the thing I mentioned. Like, there's
Yeah.
just a
pretty neat.
massive list of
Yeah.
like
Damn.
Spanish people.
Good. That's good.
So much outsourcing to companies K2,
Yeah, there's a
M2,
lot.
etc.
I mean, M2 is the company that mainly handled RE3 remake.
Yeah, and they did
I-
something on this game as
Basically,
well.
a subsidiary of Capcom.
Yeah.
I just want to make a point really quick. Sorry if it's maybe too serious for the podcast, but I think just the overall concept and the way that they presented this remake is a perfect way to illustrate how much Capcom is willing to learn from their past mistakes, I guess, or missteps maybe, like to acknowledge that things maybe didn't age well and to address things, like to improve it, to change it in the way that it needs to be. And I think they've rectified a lot of things that people took issue with um in the best ways that they possibly could have. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to be a little bit more vague about how I'm saying it, just because I don't want to directly get into a lot of the controversy.
I mean, I'm assuming you're referring to the like certain lines that were in the original. Not
Yeah,
being
that's one
used.
example, definitely. Like the
Um,
direction they took with Ashley, period. Like they
Yeah, I mean, it was very obvious that Capcom was going to go that direction when, like, with in their collaboration with Facebook when they did the VR version of RE4, that they cut like a lot of the flirting lines, the lines about like the ballistics,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and like removing the upskirts.
Oh, speaking of which, did you know that is actually in the game?
Yeah, you mentioned that that like Ashley has animations for like covering her skirts,
Or
but
not
she
even that,
doesn't
like
wear a skirt.
they are actually used.
Hmm.
So I can just use Wesker as an example there because I saw a video of it online. But anyway, so
Okay.
yeah, as Jtegh mentioned, like I did find those animations in the file, which really surprised me. And I just assumed immediately, okay, this has to be unused. But then someone actually linked me to a Reddit post where someone found a way to activate it in the game. So apparently, if you do this, if you just like move the camera like this, and then just like have it be here for like 5 seconds or something, and then then Ashley will do that. We will do an animation where we will like try to like cover stuff, like try to move her arms in the way of the camera, and then like right afterwards she would just like stare right into the camera for several seconds, like right at you. I found like that's a pretty funny touch.
Not only Ashley is judging you, but Capcom and everyone who has
Yeah,
ever made a video game is judging you.
so that is something I
That's pretty
found to
good.
be kind of funny, but it is really hard to actually trigger. You have to be very dedicated. I will. I
Yeah,
guess.
I just to wrap up that point I was making, I just like the gameplay and everything. Like that's super important, obviously, for the experience that you have in the game. But it's it was really nice to see how willing Capcom was to rewrite and improve on uh, a lot of things that people took issue with in the past, and I like super appreciated that. Like that made the entire experience so much more exhilarating to go through again because you could in parts that maybe felt alienating in the past, uh, characters kind of like sucked you into the story this time because you could identify with more of them and it felt more relatable and the storytelling was more sincere. So like there's just a lot of things that I feel like they got right with this, and it's not just the black and whites of the gameplay. Like I think I just wanted to point out some of those more nuanced things too, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So good job.
I think I might be rude again. I'm sorry for being very rude, but I mean, I agree with a lot of the stuff you say. Like, for instance, like some of the stuff Leon say in the original, like Louis said, like they kind of just bored on like sexual harassment. Like that might not be like
Mhm.
very cool stuff to say. But I feel like Capcom might be pushing a little bit too much against like anything that might be seen as like any like even like remotely sexualization of a character. Like in previous games, they would have like some kind of like sexy skins for like characters, and I feel like as long as it's done tastefully, it's not that bad. And they seem to be 100% completely against it to the degree that they sent me the very first copy strike on YouTube that I never ever had. I'm kind of sad. But yeah, I
Well,
showcase.
so I don't think this would ever be assumed about me, but I'm all for sexualization of characters in video games. So like that's not what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah.
I agree. I know what you mean. I agree with what you're
Yeah.
saying too.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
don't
just
think they
want
should
to.
take it too far.
I just want to quickly like give context for people who don't know. Like I made a video showcase of a very early mod for Ashley that puts her in like in a black dress that shows quite a bit of skin, but there was no nudity, so I kind of figured it would be fine. But no, I got a very very quick DMCA from Capcom, which kind of surprised me.
Capcom's all like, no sexy time for you.
Yeah, it's yeah, they seem to be really aggressive, and I personally think they're going a little bit too far.
Certainly a
I'll
far cry from the RE5 days.
Yeah, like they
I'll
put.
upload my Naked Leon playthrough and see what they say about
Actually,
it.
wait, actually, that actually reminds me. Wasn't there was it like an RE5 art book where they were specifically talking about the sexiness of like Jill Battlesuit or something?
Oh god, yeah, I think I
Yep.
think there's a specific line where they said like the reason they put the device on the chest was that it would be a good excuse to then like show to then show cleavage.
My,
think
how
that's,
times have changed.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
original design there was a mind control device around her neck and head, and the line in the art book specifically says that one of the, I think, lead character designers was like, but if we put it on her chest, the suit can open up and it'll be all sexy. That is the literal phrasing from the art book.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
that sounds right.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the days of like RE5 and Revelations is like peak Capcom horniness. And after that, they were like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't.
Sailor Chris
Oh,
changed the
also-
world.
Sectus, can you go back a couple screenshots to the the Knights in the Fireplace? So I recently discovered that if you come back here later in Chapter 9 after you've reunited with Ashley, some of these knights get up and attack.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
they do.
that's funny.
I had that as well. I also backtracked there. It was
Oh yeah, I think
was
it
an
happened to me
interesting
as well.
surprise.
Yeah. I was just happy because I just like fighting the night enemies. Like those were among my favorite enemies to fight. So I was just all for it.
I agree with you on that too. They're my favorite also.
So Sectus Mercenaries mod where every enemy is a knight when?
If it's possible, maybe immediately after this podcast.
That'd be a missed opportunity if they don't do a stage where there's knights as enemies.
They should just do more mercenary stages. Like I challenge
Yeah.
mercenary stages.
Should.
I don't care. Just do stuff.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for that DLC. Stages and characters, even outfits, like give it to me. I'll buy it.
Game looks so good. Like the graphics, they look pretty darn
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
I think I might have too many screenshots there. I kind of took like a billion. Here's some of this stuff we saw earlier. Oh yeah, this is the
Oh, there
punk,
she is.
punk Ashley
Oh.
costume.
I guess there is one odd thing about the PC port, which I can't test, and none of you would probably run into because you all have GPUs with insane amounts of VRAM. So, for some reason, in the PC version, if you have ray tracing on and you run out of VRAM, the game will just crash.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate
Which-
behavior.
For those who are not familiar with PC games, that's not what's supposed to happen when you run out of VRAM. When you run out of VRAM, the game is supposed to get slower and stutter as it is swapping assets into your system RAM. It's not supposed to crash. Oh, hey, who's that guy in the back?
That's me.
It's him.
Wow.
A buzzsaw.
Are you the FluffyQuack from the RE4 remake?
Yes.
Wow.
Everything is so good.
Yeah. For the most part, the PC port is pretty solid, especially compared to some other PC ports we've had recently.
Oh yeah.
There are a few quibbles that I think they still need to fix. I'm pretty sure Sectus is very familiar with one of those quibbles right now, isn't that right, Sectus?
Yeah, the more save slots you fill, the slower the game is to boot up. The game, I have to watch. I have to look at a black screen for one full minute each time I boot the game up, which is really annoying
Oh.
because I reboot the game a whole lot because of modding reasons. That is kind of annoying.
I didn't realize that was connected to the amount of save slots you've used.
Yeah, it's a silly bug which I hope they'll fix in one of the next patches.
It would be nice.
I tweeted about it and I think I might regret it because I got some answers which sounded a little bit stupid.
Those people are idiots.
Just get a more
Now I'm
powerful
curious.
PC.
Oh god. Okay, yeah. I don't have to look.
God, he looks like a Witcher character.
So good.
I love these costumes. They're so
Yeah, these are
over
definitely
the
my two
top, but
favorite costumes.
they're so good.
You
I
get
like the
these
bit with the phone
accessories.
where you examine the phone and Ash is like, oh, seriously, I just got this.
It's actually an unused animation, an interaction where you can give her back the phone, but that was it wasn't used in the final game.
Oh yeah, I do remember you talking about that.
I have a complaint. I have a major complaint about RE4 Remake.
Okay.
The chess pieces wrong.
I think they made the bishops and the maybe the queen like a little bit too like similar looking. I feel like I feel like I feel like that's a major complaint
Also,
about
wait
I
a
have
minute.
about the game.
Why do some of the black pieces have bits of white, and why do some of the white pieces have bits of black?
But like these two are the bishops. Like that indicates that they're the bishops. And
Aquamatey to
Well, wait, hang on.
E4.
This isn't a bishop, Bill, is it?
no, that's that would be the king. Like this is the king. Here's a queen, I think. But yeah, they look kind of similar. And yeah, I don't know. I think they could have done a better job, like making the meshes for this chess pieces.
How come we haven't played chess with your podcast tool yet? Like we move our VTubers around, and yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess we get enough like that. Yeah. We need a lot of people in the same podcast for that, I think. Just look at those frills and wow. I took so many screenshots. We're gonna be here all night. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, this is a mod I was fiddling with trying to add the third person aiming to the rifles.
I
I
guess
love the purple fire.
Oh,
Oh, this is the
Because we're
mod, by
gonna
the
get
way.
DMCA.
That's I would not recommend making a YouTube video with this mod because then Capcom might be a little bit upset. So don't make a YouTube video with this mod.
so
Oh god, I don't like this
regarding
outfit.
so regarding the no iron sights mod for the sniper rifles, I'm guessing you haven't figured out a way to make the crosshair show on the screen yet with that mod.
No, other people have found like I think some kind of workaround. I didn't look too much into it, but there were other issues as well. For instance, Leon's hair might randomly disappear sometimes, and I couldn't find a solution to
Oh.
that. And that's kind of a
Ah.
major issue as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of a wonky thing.
I guess I do have one other small complaint, and it is a thing that a lot of news outlets have pointed out very recently when Mercenaries was released. They didn't just release Mercenaries. They also released a couple other small things. Some microtransactions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you can just buy exclusive upgrade tickets, like a handful of them. So that challenge where you would normally have to wait until Chapter 7 to get enough spinels to make your Chicago Typewriter Infinite. No, you could just do it right at the start if you just give Capcom some more money. I'm disappointed,
that's,
Sectus. Your hat doesn't have hair strands. I'm shaking my head.
wow! How could you?
It's still a cool mod though. This is made, by the way, made by Lee Might 21. It's a pretty
Yeah, it is. It is
That's
cool.
very good.
pretty cool mod. And the hair strands still look pretty cool. And don't show this outfit. It is literally illegal. But
I'd
very
just
good
like
hair
you to
strands.
know that that screenshot you showed a couple minutes ago of Leon sitting on that chair, I took that exact same screenshot, but with less clothing.
Oh,
And he's censored. It was censored, so you could have shown it, I guess. Yeah,
yeah. Very convenient censoring.
very artistic. She's so
Hair
pretty.
strands. Oh yeah, this is a mod.
Who's that?
Oh,
This is
right.
original Ashley mod. I think it's made by Crazy Potato. I think.
I think so, yeah.
This reminds me of what a reviewer said about old Ashley all the way back in the day, like back when the original RE4 came out. I believe they described the old Ashley as, and I quote, a jug-eared chimp.
Wow.
How dare they?
And this is classic Leon made by Crazy Potato also, I believe.
Also known as trash bag. Leon, not the modder. I'm sorry.
I had the small El Gigante.
That was
It's,
cute. Yeah.
adorable. More third-person rifle.
It's hammer time.
Cow.
All right, the cows.
I should use that mod. Because I hated the Novistadors. Yeah.
Ashley
Yeah.
suplex.
Yeah, if
Also
you
did a lot of suplexes as Ada. That was great.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like, if you manage to go out of bounds as Ashley, which I think is only possible via modding right now, you can actually just go to the merchant, buy guns, and just use pistols. So you can, like, shoot enemies, stun them, and then she can just like, yeah, just do a suplex.
I love that she's actually treated like the main character that you can like equip guns to and stuff if you do that.
We didn't go that in depth in regards to mercenaries.
No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of depth in Mercenaries in terms
Yeah.
of content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I've only done one run on each stage to get the hand cannon, and I got the S rank I needed first time. What Sector says, it's very easy. He
It
is
is
not
so
kidding.
easy.
I'm bad at mercenaries, and I did it easily.
Yeah. I should say, like, first of all, I mean, like, there are big positives. Like, this is a billion times better than the mercenaries mode in R8, and I like that. Like, this
Yep.
this it does feel
Oh,
like a
yeah.
proper mercenaries mode. Like, they took a lot of stuff from, like, R5, where it is like 150 enemies in total. Like, I think they got like a good length for the sessions. Like a typical match is like 10 minutes or so. I feel like that feels good. Like, they've got the fundamentals. They made it so easy. Like, you got the like crazy overpowered mayhem mode where just it's usually all about like just spamming a single move, which makes it kind of mindless, and you just destroy absolutely everything. It's too easy. It's way too easy. And there's a major complaint I have about it.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
before Mercenaries was released, the only way to get the hand cannon was to beat professional mode without using any bonus weapons, which is way harder than just beating the 3 stages with an S rank in Mercenaries.
Yeah.
I wonder if that means they expected people to struggle more with mercenaries.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe it was just it was like a thing that was like a different team working on it, and they weren't aware. Like there would be another way to get hand cannon. I don't know. I will quickly say, like, another thing I appreciate that I think is like was done well with Mercenaries here is that I think every single shot will actually stun enemies in Mercenaries, unlike the campaign, which I feel like is good because you want you
Oh,
want you want like you want it to be like known what happens when you like shoot an enemy. I feel like that's a very good change for Mercenaries.
yeah. When I
unlike
first
the
started
campaign.
playing the campaign, the fact that a single headshot didn't stun a normal enemy anymore, it was really bothering me at first. I've kind of adjusted now, but it is
Yeah,
a bit
I
of a
think it's
weird
something I
change from the
still would
original.
prefer be different. Like, I like enemies being stunned or staggered with every shot, but well, it is how it is.
There
I mean-
is mods for that, at least, I think,
Yeah.
Oh,
for the
okay.
campaign. But yeah, that doesn't fix it for console players, unfortunately.
And
Yeah.
another weird thing about Mercenaries is that 3 graphic settings are always forced off: subsurface scattering, hair strands, and also I think I may have another screenshot there. Well, maybe I don't. Another setting is like a lighting thing is forced off, and I don't really understand why. It's a PC. You can just brute force through this, and also you can still turn on ray tracing. Ray tracing is way more demanding than all of this stuff. I just find this really weird. Also, here's a funny mod made by I forget his name, but he found a way, like Scuba or something. I don't know. He found a way to like swap enemy types.
Neat.
Oh yeah, this is the third setting that's forced off, and I find that to be really weird. I don't know why they did that for Mercenaries.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Oh,
Doggy.
hi, doggy.
I think I agree. It's a fantastic base for mercenaries. It's stage and character wise, it feels extremely bare bones.
Yeah, just 3 stages.
That's the best screenshot I've seen. All my qualms with mercenaries in its current state would be solved with co-op, but I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a great base. Like, if they just add more stages, add co-op, make it harder, then it's one of the best mercenaries mode. Like those 3
I agree.
things would make an enormous difference. Like, it would make it amazing.
At one point, I think I made while Sectus was streaming the other day was that if they made it so when you enable mayhem mode, you break your combo. Like, I feel like that would be a good trade-off.
Yeah.
So you're not just like overpowered for no punishment.
Yeah, then then the people who just want like a power trip, then they get that. But then the people who want like a challenge, like go for score runs, like then they can actually like play without the mayhem. So I feel like that would be actually a pretty good balance.
Mm.
This mod I think is made by Floppity Flips. It's a pretty good mod for Leon.
That's a good
That
username.
is really good. I just want to say it's getting maybe a little bit late. We've been going for quite a while.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. There's a lot to talk about. It's a big game.
Mm-hmm.
There is, yeah.
All right. There was one last little thing I want to touch on that, and that's what didn't make the cut from the original. For people who might not be aware, the U3 boss is gone.
All right.
Maybe something for separate ways.
Maybe, perhaps. I guess it remains to be seen. There's other stuff that's been cut as well. Oh yeah, the cable car sequence before
You actually
Mendes.
see cable
that's
cars
gone.
in the distance in the village
Yeah.
at one point.
But
really?
you don't ride them this time.
I feel like that's another thing that could be separate. Like there's also like one point where like doesn't Salazar say like he's sending one of his bodyguards to against Ada or something? I feel like that's another hint. Like, oh yeah, that's probably some like a boss fight for
You
like Ada.
only see one of the Verdugos, and like Salazar does not merge with the Verdugo into like his boss fights.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
god.
like that other one just kind of like buggered off. Or
That's
yeah,
a good
it's just
point.
in
Maybe that'll be
ways.
separate ways. Ooh.
Oh, I actually
come I
saw
don't have
someone
this mod
else
yet?
using the Lewis mod there.
This feels so much like an 80s action movie when they're both shirtless. There's like another couple of things, like for instance, Lewis and Ada meet up very early on, so that might be a hint that like Ada will team up with Lewis, and also near the end,
Ooh.
Ada saves Ashley and Leon from Sadler's. There's probably going to be like a boss fight between Sadler and Ada at that point, I'm willing to bet.
That is also how it is in the original, separate ways.
Yeah. The game just looks so pretty. Like everything just looks so
I
pretty.
still find it like Salazar's throne room has chickens everywhere. Why does it have chickens everywhere?
You have to ask him to get the answer. I don't know.
Salazar,
Margaret Thatcher? Why?
Why is your throne room full of chickens?
Because he needs an egg.
But-
and you will
but-
give him an egg.
Yeah, but he doesn't like the method I use to give him an egg.
Mayday, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I died at this part, by the way, because I ran
Me
over
too.
the
Oh, yeah.
wooden stuff.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
stuff.
like I heard the crack and I was like,
you?
I heard the crack and like how the game forces you to stop when you step on it. I was like, maybe I should walk here.
I was like, "There's no way they're just gonna make you die. This has to be like a thing." And it just collapsed on you, and I was like, "Well, I
Yeah.
guess you do die."
So that Leon scream caught me off guard. It was very startling.
I took so many screenshots, but the game just looks so nice. Look at the game. Look at the game. I have one more thing noted. I like the changes to the Gloria Las Plaga enemy, because in the original game there was like just a Granada that was really cowardly, but in this new game they actually like they have like all new unique mechanics. That was like a nice touch to like the gameplay to some combat sequences.
I mean, yeah, it's a change. It's very different. I don't like fighting those enemies. They're very annoying. They have so much health and they cause Leon to get stunned and bleh.
I do
Stop
kind of wish they had
mocking.
more variants of their voice line.
Those guys get the Magnum, or well, on my repeat playthroughs, the Infinite Rocket Launcher.
Are you saying you need something more than Gloria Las Plaga? I think it's pretty much perfect. I don't know.
Yeah. Just something they could say the same thing, but maybe a different tone shift.
They keep talking about this Gloria woman, but we never meet her.
This is during the jet
Submarine.
ski segment. There's a U-boat in the background just randomly. There's a submarine.
Huh. There's a lot of clutter during the jet ski sequence.
Look at that clown.
It is quite glorious.
So here I have, which I mentioned maybe 2 hours ago. Here's a
Yeah.
picture of Excella.
Yes.
That's a pretty funny touch. They added that. They also have
The
like the
flowers.
Oh, right.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
that room. I
and
remember that room.
even more randomly, it's Chris from Revelations 1.
What the
What?
fuck?
Huh?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's on the right side of like the same stuff as this. It's on the right side. Didn't you see this?
Revelations 1 remake in our engine?
Oh, God.
Rachel,
Um,
Rachel.
Oh, this is, by the way,
Well,
the Wesker office without the Wesker and the monitor stuff.
Huh.
Luis. I think I'm nearly done with the screenshots now. Oh, there's the shirtless cursor for some reason. That's it. That's the final screenshot. We go through them all.
We're at the end.
I feel like I could just spend literally hours talking about this, and we have spent
Yeah.
hours, but I could like spend more hours. But I feel like, yeah, maybe we should. I guess we can say this is it for now, and not make this 6 hours after all.
yeah. We can make part 2 another time.
I mean,
Probably
like,
when
summary.
Separate Ways comes out.
yeah,
Mhm.
like separate ways we can like talk about that.
In summary, we all really like this game.
Yeah, this game is very, 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 very good, and they should just make RE9 in this style. Just give me more action
Yeah.
RE. Like, I haven't been this excited about an RE game in like over 10 years. So
Yeah, like ever since RE7 came out, I've been like, maybe Resident Evil just isn't for me anymore. Maybe I just don't really give a damn about the series anymore. And now this has come out, and it's like, okay, maybe I do still like Resident Evil.
yeah, I've been mixing the series for the past years. Like, I didn't like 7. I thought RE2 remake was like okay. I thought RE3 remake was way better, but I don't think it was super replayable.
Which
And then
Wh-
8 I
that is
didn't
not-
like much.
and that is not a popular opinion either.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I actually like 3 remake more than most people, but yeah, like either way, like this one, like I've never been this excited about an RE game like in
I mean,
so long.
I can probably take that opinion, and this is gonna get everyone after me in a heartbeat. I still think RE3 might be my favorite RE Engine game,
Oh, wow,
Wow.
even more than this.
even more than RE4. RE4
Whoa.
is really good, but RE3 just feels so like the pacing is so tight, and just like the minus Final Nemesis and Inferno, it feels so incredibly well balanced. Like it's just so tightly constructed. Like everything just comes together so nicely in that game.
I
This
still haven't
isn't
played
Jill
RE3
bias,
remake.
is it? Is it Jill? Is it Jill?
Well, yeah, I appreciate Jill in it. But I also just it is just also like the general just the gameplay flow of it, the balance, all of that. Just it feels very tight. Four is great, and I do think with some polish, like just like enemies being stunned more reliably and stuff like that, like in Mercenaries, like that would do a lot for me. Because it is like that sort of stuff that makes me go a bit like, like this works for RE2 and 3 remake, that the zombies need like a few more bullets to be stunned because they're slower. It doesn't work as well on Ganados that are like very quick to be in a big number and like charging at you from all sides. Or you can feel a bit, what's the word? Clumsy in a way?
Yeah, I was feeling the word clumsy when I was like initially starting my first playthrough. I wasn't completely feeling it yet. Like the game grew on me a lot over time.
Yeah. Like it's still a great game, don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
here to like trying to say, oh, you know, RE4's bad or any. I just still think like RE3 is just a little bit more on my alley, even though I know it's short and all that stuff.
RE4
But I
remake is
think
long like this. I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for the
it
game to
is.
be this long. It is so crazy long.
Yeah.
Like RE3 is short, but I just think what RE3 has is just incredibly stellar done. Like it's really really well done. And a lot of RE4 is also very well done, for sure.
Very well done.
Anyone else have any final thoughts before we end?
I think their final thoughts are just spinning.
Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah,
Forgot
this
how to stop spinning.
I think you. How was it again? Hold on.
The little star
Oh yeah,
icon
but
on your-
both the mouse buttons and then the star and the numpad.
There we go.
But yeah, I think we'll call it here, and not sure
Oh.
when the next podcast will be. I mean, it would be nice if Capcom maybe made a trailer for Dragon's Dogma 2 now. That would be
We
cool.
talk about Death Island.
Oh yeah, I actually wanted to do a podcast about Death Island. Should we do that
Another
soonish
time.
or after the
Yeah.
movie's out?
I'd be up for soonish.
Well, we can maybe one of these days we'll have a quick Death Island podcast.
I have a lot of appreciation for Jill to get out of my system.
I have a few
Mhm.
things to say about that. And then we'll definitely went separate ways. Is that we'll babble about that as well? I
Oh
imagine?
yes.
Yeah.
I am really into the awesome stuff Jill is doing in the trailer.
But yeah, bye for now. Thanks for watching.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.